it's okay to begin now. Please, if you can put on the recording so that maybe for some one or two reasons, those who are not able to attend, we can share with them after the meeting so that they can also benefit from this seminar.
Yes.
So I want to use...
Recording is already on.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to make it to today's seminar. And I believe that you're not going to regret attending this seminar. It's going to be awesome. A lot of good information will be shared that will empower us and then give us hope. So welcome to this seminar, which is about supporting children with autism and cerebral palsy, the power of early care and modern medical advances. So this was a collaborative effort from Reverend Anthony Asian, who is the head of Royal House Chapel, Greensboro, and also a pharmacist. Later on in the slides, I will introduce those who made this, who came together to make this program a reality. So without much ado, I would call upon Reverend Anthony. I know we all believe in, I know there are different religions, but we all believe in a supreme being who is God. So we can't start this program without inviting him in our presence. So I'll call on Reverend Anthony Asian to give us an opening prayer and then the opening remarks to set the pace for us to start. Thank you very much. Reverend Anthony, if you are here, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel, for this great opportunity that God has given all of us, the opportunity to be able to disseminate information and also to be able to come together to share our knowledge, to encourage each other, and also to forge ahead with what we can do as believers, as people, to be able to help our children that are going through this challenge. But without much ado, I want us to pray so that we commit this program into God's hands, and then after we take it from there. So shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for one more time gathering us in your presence. We pray and we ask for your wisdom, we ask for your grace, and we ask for your presence. The Heavenly Father, even as we go through this presentation, as we go through our discussions and our deliberations, that you, oh God, will be at the center of everything. Grant us the wisdom. Grant us what it takes, Heavenly Father, to have a fruitful discussion. That at the end of the day, Heavenly Father, we'll all live here, having hope, having a strength, having the ability and capacity to be able to do what is right in your sight concerning our brothers and sisters that are going through this challenge. I commit each and every panelist into your hands. I commit the participants into your hands. I pray, Heavenly Father, that you shall lead us, you shall guide us, you shall direct us, that at the end of the day, every wisdom and every knowledge that you release even into our system and our spirit, Lord, that it shall stay with us, that it shall guide us, that it shall inform us, that at the end of the day, our children with these challenges will be the better for it. We pray and we ask all this prayer in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So we thank God. Just to set the ball rolling, when Dr. Emmanuel came to me and discussed this issue of cerebral palsy and autism, I did a little research into it, and also for practical and personal experience, because I have a couple of members of my church who have children with this challenge. I realized that enough information, enough help is not being made available to this group of individuals. And in my research, I realized that 1 out of every 32 children in the United States have this particular condition. On the global level, 1%. And this prevalence is something that has been going up, because in the 80s, in the 70s, it was like 1 in every 60 children, 1 in every 2, but now it's 1 in every 32 children, which informs us that this is on the prevalence, and this is a real thing that is close to us. And as a faith-based organization, I realized that we can do more. And so we decided to put this platform up and bring people together who have this expertise and knowledge, who can be able to disseminate the information to all of us. That will be able to help us, especially to help these children. Because most of the time, it's like there's some kind of stigmatization, which doesn't help. Maybe because people are ignorant of what the whole thing is about and what they need to do or how they can help. And so as a faith-based organization, I believe that the little that I can do, the little contribution that we can do, is to provide a platform and bring experts on board who can be able to share their knowledge, share their experience, and let us know what is happening, what the future looks like, the advancements, what is in the pipeline, so that we can offer hope, we can offer encouragement, and we can offer help where necessary. So that is why this program, why this presentation. And I'm trusting God that by the time we go through this presentation, whatever your fears are, whatever questions you ask, I'm trusting that God will help all of us to be able to answer this question, help your fears, so that together we'll know how to handle these children. Because autism, cerebral palsy is a condition that is much more to do with the mental capacity of the child. And sometimes people tend to shy away from that and begin to relegate people to the background. So I'm trusting that this will help us all. And I really appreciate all the panelists who made their time available. Dr. Emmanuel for putting it together for us. Dr. Lundy from India, the specialist. And then Ms. Joyce. All of you, I really appreciate you. And I know that by God's grace, you do a good job. So thank you very, very much, Dr. Emmanuel. And I pray that we have a successful program. Over to you, Dr. Emmanuel. You are the moderator. You set the ball rolling. Let's see how everything will go. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Reverend Anthony Essien, for such a wonderful prayer and remarks. So we'll move on to the next phase, which is a brief introduction about the organizers and the speakers. So we have our wonderful special guest speaker, who is in the person of Dr. Nandini, who is the Deputy Head Director and Head of Medical Consultation of Regenerative Medicine. He has tons of experience dealing with neurodevelopmental disorders. Yes, so later on, she will take the floor and then take us through some modern advancement and other important information. So I don't know if she's around and can show the video and give us a slight wave. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nandini. Yes, thank you so much. She's a wonderful woman, and we hope to learn a lot from her. Thank you very much. Okay, and that's myself. The next person is myself. I am Dr. Emmanuel Osaikisi. So I'm part of one of the organizers. Somewhere in the line, I will be speaking on some few things, but a little bit about me. I'm an educator. I've been in the teaching profession for so many years now, from the lower levels all the way to the college level now. And also I combine that with the IT profession. Yes, so, and my passion is to advocate for these special needs kids because like Reverend Anthony said earlier on, the prevalence is just going up, and we as a community needs to come together and then find ways and means to curb these situations. Then we have Reverend Anthony Essien, who just spoke. He's the head pastor of Royal House Chapel, Greensboro Mission, and also a pharmacist. And he's so passionate about community outreach. Reverend Asian support faith-based initiative that uplift families affected by developmental and physical abilities. And he's also coming up with an organization that will support families in such situation. So be on the lookout for that. Then we have our own lovely sister, Mrs. Joyce Labby, who is the CEO of Autism the Stigma, dedicated parent advocate. Mrs. Labby advocates, leads campaigns to break cultural stigma around autism, focusing on awareness, education, and family support. Yeah, so she also has this foundation that supports kids and then try to help parents, families to speak up, because sometimes, a lot of times, we see that families that suffer, have wards, or people with this condition are speechless. They become so helpless. So Mrs. Joyce Labby's foundation is there to just give a voice to these families. Then lastly, we have excuse me 1 second. Let me move something out of the way. We have Angela Dobia Perry, who is the founder of Inclusive Horizon. That's also a foundation based in Ghana, and they are doing a wonderful job. I looked at the images, I visited their website, and they are doing a wonderful job for those communities out there. So if you are based in Ghana, know that you are not alone. There are supports available for you over there. Later on in the meeting or in this section, I will share their information, contact, and then how to get to them. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to invite Mrs. Joyce Labby, who is the founder and the CEO of Autism the Stigma. She happens to also have a ward that had the same autism. And in fact, she's done a tremendous job. And now I spoke to the child and I nearly wept, because I knew the condition before. And then after, he's putting in a lot. And then so he's going to share her success story, so that those of us going through similar situations will develop some hope and know that all hope is not lost. Because if it has been able to happen to her, then definitely you are no exception. Yeah. So without much ado, I will hand over the floor to Mrs. Joyce Labby. Mrs. Joyce Labby, if you are here, over to you. Thank you very much.
Can you see my video?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning to you, everyone, and thank you for coming to this webinar today. As Doctor said, my name is Joyce Labby, and I am the founder of Autism the Stigma, a nonprofit organization dedicated to breaking the stigma surrounding autism, especially within the African communities and the immigrant communities. This mission is deeply personal to me, not only because I've worked with children on the spectrum for over 4 years, but also my loved one was diagnosed with autism at the age of 24 months. And today I am excited to say that my child is autism free with the help of early advanced treatment at NeuroGen in India. I have seen the impact stigma plays on children, families, and the entire community. Why I founded Autism the Stigma? Autism the Stigma was founded because I noticed a dangerous pattern. In many African communities or families, autism is not talked about openly. Some parents hide their children diagnosis due to the fear of judgment, and other parents to are blamed for their child's own behavior. And this keeps families quiet and delays the help the children needs. Today, I want to say that autism, this stigma is here to change that narrative. That autism is not a curse. Autism is not a punishment from above. Autism is not bad parenting. It's simply a different way of experiencing the world. What does autism the stigma do? We teach parents, caregivers the science of autism and support and advocacy. We also visit schools, churches, community to raise awareness. We also create a safe space for these families so that they can talk and support each other. And also we work with leaders so they can share the right information to the communities. Autism Destigma goal is to replace shame with understanding. Why today's event matters? Today's event matters because events like this is very, very important. So because we cannot do it alone. When we come together, parents, leaders, teachers, and organizations come together, we help families feel safe, children get the support they need, and communities grow stronger. I would say that to every parent on this platform who is hearing my voice, I would say you are not alone. To every leaders, you can help change the mind of the community. And to everyone over here, you are part of the solution. So let us work together to make sure every child is valued, accepted, and given the chance to shine. Thank you for joining this webinar.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Joyce Labi, for a wonderful message. Yes, so if you want any message of hope, because she's done a tremendous job with the help of the people in NeuroGen. She's done a tremendous job with the support of NeuroGen, and now I can boldly say, I can attest to the fact that her son is autism free now. But although the name is Autism Destigma, but it doesn't mean that those with cerebral palsy are out. We advocate for all. So please, anybody with any developmental challenges is always welcome. Okay, there's a saying that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So I just want us to shake some tension off before we continue. This is a quick one. So I'll ask a question. You pick a, and please, is the chat feature enabled?
Yes, chat is enabled. Chat is enabled, yes.
Okay, so I'll ask a question, you pick an answer. We only pick two. We'll pick two random people. And those two random people are going to get a $10 gift card. I know there are other countries, so this is a token. I know it's not a lot, but yeah. So those from other countries like Ghana, we'll send it through. Is it those apps or something like that? So don't worry, you are not left out. Those over here too, it will be in the form of a gift card. So it's only $10. So please hurry up with your answers, and yeah, just hope, fingers crossed, you'll be the lucky one. So my question goes, true or false? All children with autism have the same strengths and challenges. Let's go. Put your answer in the chat. So, wow. Okay. So I don't want to be biased picking randomly. So I would ask Mrs. Joyce Labi to just pick two people randomly and openly mention their names, and then we'll take their details
You
and
know
then
what?
send their gift to them.
I see initials, only initials over here, but I will pick SO. That's what I see. And then let's see.
Let me write it
RK
down. SO. I need a
and
full
RK.
name.
I don't see. That's what I see. I don't see the
SO
full name
is
over here.
Shade Orunya, Shade. SO is Shade. The other one?
Yeah, RK.
Oh, Shade. Okay. So, Shade, you are a lucky winner. Your answer is absolutely right.
Shade and
And then who? The second person?
RK is Rosemond.
Rosemond.
Okay.
Rosemond, you also won yourself a $10 gift card, which will take your details and send it up to you. But, well, if your name was not picked, it doesn't mean you are not a winner. You are, but a winner without a gift. Maybe next time we'll save more money to give everybody. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move forward. So the right answer is false. Yes, and the explanation is right here. Autism is a spectrum disorder, so which means it affects individuals differently. Each child may have unique strengths, ability, and challenges ranging from communication skills to learning styles, and no sensory sensitivities. No two children with autism are exactly alike. So thank you all so much. With your permission, I will move on. So there's this wonderful lady who is doing a lot in Ghana. The reason why I'm bringing these people in is that I want to broaden our horizon of seeking for support, knowing where we can find the actual support, right? That good one that will help us and our families. So without much ado, just a simple one, we will invite Mrs. Angela Dobia Perry, who also has a wonderful organization named Inclusive Horizon Foundation in Ghana. They are doing an awesome job providing support for families that have people with disabilities in there. So if Ms. Angela Dobia is here, the floor is open to you.
No,
you can share a little
I'm
about.
not sure we can see her. If she can just raise her hand, we can allow her to speak. I can't see. Okay, there is someone who has raised her hand. Okay. Yes, okay. Let me get her into the panelist.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
1 second.
Angela, you'll have to just accept. Yeah, no, she's here to speak. Yes.
Angela, if you are ready, we are ready for you.
You need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank everyone for the opportunity. Again, my name is Angela Dubia Perry. I've been in the US for 36 years. I have an organization, my organization, Inclusive Horizon Foundation. It's a nonprofit empowering individuals with developmental disabilities and promoting inclusive communities. We have children with autism, we have children with Down syndrome, and then we have children with cerebral palsy. Right now, the organization have over 100 children with whom we have over 50 with autism and over 50 with cerebral palsy. So this opportunity is a very great one for us to get the education that we also need. As with that part of the world, the stigma is very, very rare over there. So the support is very crucial in that part of the world. We need all the support that we can get to be able to give them that support over in Ghana. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Angela Dubia, for a wonderful job that you are doing in Ghana. So those of you in Ghana, if you need support, at the end of the presentation, I'll provide more information about their website and their email contact so that they do an awesome job providing support. Thank you very much once again. Okay, so yes, we have another success story. So these stories are stories of hope, because when you are in this condition, it looks much like all hope is lost. But from current research and what Reverend Tony said in the beginning, and then Ms. Joyce Labby, who also shared her success story, the reason why we are doing this is to kind of give hope to the communities and their families. So without much ado, I would invite Mrs. Rose Appel, who also has a ward that was diagnosed with autism, and then share her success story. So Mrs. Rose Appel, if you are online, the floor is open to you. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. This is Rosamond K. Appel, and I've been here for a while now. I gave I gave birth to my child back in Ghana. So after we come in here, we saw that things wasn't right. We didn't even know. So until he turned 24 months, that's where we realized he wasn't saying anything. No, mommy, no, daddy, but we attributed it to COVID-19 because we were all indoor. And when he was about progressing with speech, we had to stay inside. So we thought that was the reason why he wasn't talking. So fast forward at the 24 months appointment, that's where we realized that we have to do something about it. In fact, what I want to say is people do deny the fact that looking at your child, very healthy, energetic, and fast forward, you'll be told that he's autistic. It's so overwhelming. So, in fact, I denied it. But because I didn't know anything about autism, I went to do research about it. I read so much about it. And all the things they were talking about was exactly the things my child was doing. So later on, I accepted that, okay, why don't I take all the services they want to give me so that if it's true, then I have nothing to lose. If it's not, then I have nothing to lose. So fast forward, I started with therapies and it wasn't working. But thanks be to Sister Joyce, I always mention her name. I'm so grateful to her because if not her, I wouldn't have known that there was a solution that I had no idea about it. So fast forward, we went, did the surgery, and my son is doing so well. You know what? I always say that I'm not advertising for NeuroGen. No, because I was so desperate for my child to get better. I was sharing my experiences. I was making so much noise to get solution. And fast forward, I have had the solution I'm looking for. I'm not bragging, but there is so much change. Now, the child who wasn't talking is now making so much progress. Um, Now, still, people are not accepting the fact that you tell them their child is autism, like has autistic. But I always pray that they will get to understand how it behaves. So fast forward now, when I go to church and I see like people like child not talking at two, I become inquisitive to ask of the child, oh, the mom, that is your child talking, because I don't want the person to go through what I've been through. Not that I want to talk so much, but now I know that there is a solution. Not 100%, but probably how the child will, do something for himself or herself and live a better life. Thank you very much for the platform.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Rose Appel, for such a wonderful story. And thank you to Mrs. Joyce Labby and the NeuroGen team for giving hope to parents and families out there. Thank you very much. Yes, this is why some of these webinars are important, because some parents are still in denial, and a lot of them especially I'm from Ghana, especially from where I come from, we do a lot of spiritual attributions and all of that. But yes, doing spiritual stuff is good, but we also have to look at what is on the ground and seek medical advice, right? So we'll get to learn more about these medical advances. And then I know at the end of this session, you'll be able to make a wonderful decision for yourself and then your family if you have people with neurodevelopmental disorders living amongst you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Rosa Pell, once again. Okay, so at this point, this is me. I'm going to do a little bit. I'm not going to take much of the time because I want to leave all the time for our special guests to take us through and dive deeper into the recent advances. Yes, so I'm not going to, and we might eat a little bit into over the time, but I really apologize. It's not intentional, but we'll try as much as possible to go according to the time. Okay, so yes, inclusive education. So yes, one may ask, what is inclusive education? And why is it even important? Right? Yes, so we know that inclusive education is an approach to teaching and learning in which all students, regardless of their abilities, disability background, or learning needs, are taught together in the same classroom, right? So it is based on the belief that every child has the right to equal access to quality education. Yes, so people living with disabilities need not to be signaled out. They are an important part of society. For instance, if anybody knew that Elon Musk will become what he is now, I mean, who even thought, right? So there are a lot of great people in society with challenges, but with the help, with equal access to education, they are able to break through, right? That is why inclusive education is important here. Okay, so inclusive education beyond the classroom. A lot of time when we think about inclusive education, we think about the classroom. But I believe that is a misconception, right? I might be wrong. Everybody's entitled to his or her opinion, but I believe that inclusive education does not happen only in school. So even in the home, at our churches and communities, there's still inclusive education, right? So when we have, like Reverend Anthony rightfully said, in his church, there are people or there are families that have wards or loved ones with such issues, right? So it doesn't mean that we have to push them out or we have to segregate them, but we have to give them that platform, because giving them that platform helps them to become, to develop self-esteem, to be able to socialize, build their social life, and then let them see the world in a positive way. So this means that when it comes to inclusive education, it's not only left to the teacher. We all, as a community, a society, and the world at large have a huge role to play in making sure that people living with, I wouldn't say disabilities, special abilities will be accepted, right? Will be accepted. So let's change our perception to thinking that inclusive education only happens in the classroom, but on a broader perspective, it happens everywhere. So let's keep accepting, making room, creating room for people living with disabilities to be accepted, but most especially to educators. I know there are a lot of educators among us, but we have to create a school platform that paves the way for people with special abilities to be accepted as well. Then importance of inclusive education. So I just did this. These are all supported by research. So I'll provide the links if you want to read more. Promotes equity and social justice, improve academic outcome in literacy and numeracy, and encourages friendship, empathy, and diversity acceptance, prepares children for adulthood and employment. So when in general, when people are mixed up with their regular peers, right, they tend to develop self-fulfillment, right? They're able to learn from their peers. They're able to emulate. They're able to develop some of the skills that are needed for life, right? Some of the skills that can get them into gainful employment. So when they come to us, when you see such people amongst us, you don't have to segregate them. You have to offer them the help that they need so that they will also fit well in society and they will have a positive view of society, right? So if we are, I know we are all at fault here, but let's change our mentality. Let's change our mind towards people with special abilities. Let's not look at them and laugh, but rather bring them closer, make room for them to also learn from us so that we can we can build a future that is open to all and accepting to everybody. Thank you very much. Let's move on. This one, let's take a quick break. Another one. So two lucky people will be receiving $10 each gift card. So if you're in Ghana, we'll send it on one of those apps for you. If you're in other parts of the country, you are not excluded. We'll send it. But just pray this time around, just say in your head, Lord, let me be the lucky winner. Right? So yes, my question. Yes, my question. But if you don't win, that doesn't mean you are not a winner. Maybe somewhere along the line, pray for me if I get a lot of money. I would definitely give everybody in this group because you are wonderful. True or false? All people with cerebral palsy use wheelchairs. So please, the chat feature is open. Put your answer there. And the same thing, this time around, I will choose another person. So this time around, Reverend Anthony, will you do me the honors to pick two random people? Your name cannot appear twice. So two random people as winners.
Okay.
So again, true or false? All people with cerebral palsy use wheelchairs. True or false?
Okay, so I'll choose J, the letter J, and
So
FB. I see FB.
Miss Dr. Nandini, if you are there, can you give me the full name, please?
Could you say that again, Reverend? Which
J as in John, the letter J.
J? Only J?
J, yeah.
Only
J
J
as
is
in-
Johanna. J is Johanna.
And FB.
FB. Okay, let
Yeah.
me see who is FB. FB is Fidelia Bekobi.
Okay.
Felicia what?
Yeah, Fidelia and Johanna are the winners.
Felicia, Kobe, and Johanna. Okay, so my lucky winners are Johanna, Felicia. If you had your name, then you won yourself a huge amount of money, right? So yes, that will be, we'll take your details and we'll send it to you. Thank you so much for participating. Now, everybody is a winner because you all chose the right answer. So the right answer is false. So let's see the reason why it's false. Okay, the correct answer is false. Okay. My false wasn't spelled right. Please forgive me. Okay. So the answer is false, but it was spelled right over here, so I think I'm good. The answer is false because cerebral palsy affects people in different ways, and not everyone experiences mobility challenges that requires a wheelchair. Some individuals may walk independently or use other mobility aids like walkers and crutches, depending on the type of severity of their condition. So thank you all for participating in this fun icebreaker that shared a lot of money. I hope in the near future we'll do more of that. Okay, potential challenges. Let's continue back from our break. Potential challenges. Insufficient teacher training. Yes, so inclusive education has its own downside, right? Sometimes, and in Ghana is doing a wonderful job. I am a teacher. I went to the teacher training college, Accra Training College. If anybody is from Accra Training College, we are here. So we have the opportunity where they train us, we take special education courses. So that means that if we are in a classroom with people with special abilities, we have the need to know, we have the special skill and training to cater for them. Then overcrowded classrooms. That is also, and these all are grounded in research. Then limited assistive resources, risks of social isolation and bullying. Yes, so like I said, that is the reason why we have to increase the amount of education that we do, because a lot of times some of these kids are bullied just because of something that is not something that is wrong with them. And when we do that, they tend to get low self-esteem. So let's create a room to accept them. That is the reason for inclusive education. Let's do all we can to accept them. Then here, strategies of addressing the disadvantages. Professional development, that is, if you're an educator, make sure that you are organizing a lot of professional development for your teachers. Even at home, we can offer professional development at home in our churches, right? So it's not all about Sundays, we close and then, hallelujah, we are gone. We can do some of these small little gatherings, education, to teach them on how to accept people with special abilities, which will go a long way to build us to build that knowledge of family, that sense of family amongst us. Yes, so that is also grounded in research. And then this can also include revision of the curriculum. So sometimes learning, revision of curriculum is very important across board, right? Sometimes when we revise the curriculum, we are able to cater for the needs of each individual, because every individual learns at a different level. So when we are teaching, whether we are educating the school, in the classroom, wherever we find ourselves, we have to make sure that we use different approach. We try to learn the individuals that we are reaching out to and develop ways and means that we can reach out to them in the right way to help them develop. So curriculum revision is very important, just so that we put in things that will support people with special abilities. Then we have small classroom size. And then co-teaching. So if even the classroom sizes are big, you make sure that you have people that have knowledge in special education that can come in there and help. And even in our churches, we can invite people there so that with special training, so that they can help us to be able to cope with such people, right? Then provide assistive tools and support to staff, foster positive and inclusive school culture. So we have to make sure that we are always sharing the information out there so that we can promote a positive and inclusive school culture. Then supporting children with autism and cerebral palsy in school. So what are some of the things that we can do in school? I know there are a lot of educators here, but some of the things is that we provide special accommodations during testing. We don't have to think that, oh, they are all equal, they can do everything at once. But some of them takes time to even answer a single question. So we have to provide special accommodation based on their needs. Now, the special accommodations can be extra time, quiet testing areas, modified assignments, and the use of assistive technology. Sensory-friendly environment, especially if you find out that there are students that are a little bit aggressive, giving them that calm, sensory-friendly environment helps them to focus and to be able to do well during these testings and other learning activities, right? Then use of visuals, that is very important. One thing I was preached to in the training college is that teaching aids, right? We are always preaching about teaching aids, because if you want to appeal to a child, especially children learn through what they see, right? So always when we are teaching them, we can use visual aids like pictures, charts, just to explain the concept, to make it sink better in their minds, right? So visual aids are important. So one may ask, visual aids are very expensive, but one thing that we can do is we can improvise. So as educators, as church leaders, we can do a lot of creative stuff. You can even use your hand and a color to write something, draw something. Call that child with special ability to help you to even draw out, and they'll be willing to do that, right? So doing that will help them as they continue to learn. Then we have role play activities, help practice social skills and problem solving. Yes. So even at home, when you are telling them to do something, sleep on the floor, act to them, right? Let them know, do it in a fun way. Act out what you want them to do. Don't just sit down and call the child that, hey, go and do this, go and do that. No, the child doesn't understand. That is why he or she has special abilities. So as professionals, as teachers, as pastors, as leaders, we just have to always make sure that we are acting out some of these activities to them. We are modeling. We model the what we want them to do, because it plays a very important role in their learning. They develop special and effective problem-solving skills, right? So this includes, maybe you are crossing the road, you teach them the right way, you model the right way to even cross the road, so that with time, they will develop that danger awareness. Then teaching through activities of interest. So you don't just have to just teach them with a notion that, oh, they can quickly understand. look at the child, examine the child very well. What does the child like most? Oh, the child likes singing. So sing, right? Sing, do the teaching, teach through singing. Tell them something through singing, right? It is time to bath, 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 right? So doing something develops, they begin to develop that interest and willingness to engage in learning, right? So let's take all these things into consideration. Then develop regular updates, individual educational plans, right? That is tailored to each child's needs. So as educators, we have to develop individual education plan. The reason why is that because of that differences in abilities, we just have to develop plans that will help them, that will provide that extra support. And mostly on yearly basis in the United States, I know they review it on yearly basis, or when the parents has some concerns, they organize a meeting and they review them. So review these individualized development plans as they grow, as they develop new skills and areas that they need more support. You include them all. So it's very important to create this individualized development, individualized education plan for people with special abilities. Then we have strength-based approach, build confidence by focusing on each child's talents and interests, right? So yes, sometimes we can do these things by, when we want to build, we can organize talent nights. Oh, showcase your talent. Tell me what you can do. Get the microphone. Go behind the keyboard. I love this. I saw this child on Instagram. At the age of 11, he was diagnosed with autism, and he plays the piano so well. Man, I've been watching this child over and over again, right? So let's give our children the opportunity to exhibit their talents, their skills. Maybe there's something somewhere, right, that you can only find out when you give them the platform to exhibit their talents and their interests. Okay, these are the references. I'll make them available. But if you click on the links, you don't get to it. You can copy it, put them in a new URL, and then you search for them, right? If you don't even find it, you can reach out to me. I can give you the whole copy. These are all the research. What I talked about, inclusive education, I told you that is founded in research. So these are all the references that I used. Then, yes, we are at the most, I wouldn't say everything is important, but the much awaited moment where I'm going to bring on our special guest, who is in the person of Dr. Nandini, some of the focus areas that she's going to be talking about. I mean, Dr. Nandini, you can do your own thing, but some of the focus areas will be recognizing early signs, preventive care, before, during, and after pregnancy, the vital role of parents and caregivers, therapies and treatment options, recent medical advances. That is so, I am just waiting for that. So please prepare your questions and put them in the chat. You can ask as many questions as you can, but remember, if we go beyond the time because of questions, please do forgive us. We wouldn't repeat that again, right? So over to you, Dr. Nandini. Thank you so much for your time. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel, and thank you, first of all, Reverend Anthony, for your blessings and prayers. And thank you, Joyce, for being such an inspiration and strength, such a strong mother, and floating this organization known as Autism Destigma required so much. Thank you, Rosamond, today for coming and sharing a message of hope, and thank you, Ms. Parry, for the work that you are doing in Ghana. So, I'm glad Dr. Emmanuel has set the stage very beautifully for my presentation, and a lot of things that you have said will connect with what I am going to now talk today. So, if I can share the presentation. Huh? Dr. Emmanuel, you will need to stop sharing so that then I can share my presentation. So, good evening to all of you from all the way from Mumbai, India. And good morning to those who are in the US, and good evening to those who are in Ghana. I'm Dr. Nandini Gokul-Chandran, and I am Deputy Director of NeuroGen Brain and Spine Institute in Mumbai. We are a center of excellence for incurable neurological conditions, and we work for comprehensive, holistic clinical care of children and adults with neurological condition. A lot of our work in the last 16 years that we have been in existence is focused towards children with neurodevelopmental conditions, and we keep on researching and evolving with every year that we are here. Our mission is to get children with autism, with cerebral palsy and other neurodevelopmental conditions to become independent and for their potential to come out. So with this introduction, let me start. Okay, so as today's theme is supporting children with autism and cerebral palsy, what is the power of early care and modern medical advances? There's a lot of information which we have with our research and experience collated over the last 16 years, and I will seek your patience in the last.
I brought some tea. Right?
Joyce, I think you will need to mute. Yeah. So I will seek your patience because this is going to take a little time, and it's Saturday morning, I know, and a lot of parents have a lot of work to do, but this is important. So please do bear with me. It will take an hour plus for me to put through information about autism that we have, which is a lot, and also go on to cerebral palsy. So to go on. So first of all, this is a talk only for information. It is not a substitute. It is not a substitute for a medical consultation. Each child is different. Every child with special needs requires different kind of individualized treatment and intervention. And this is a more generalized informative talk. And what I'm going to talk today is all scientifically published data in international and national peer-reviewed journals. So why are we here? We are here because either we have children with special needs, or we are caretakers of children with special needs, or we are professionals who either in education or neurorehabilitation or doctors or pharmacists who want to discuss and know more about what's out there in the scientific and medical world. What do we know more about these children? So the contents of which talk, one part, a big part is going to be autism, and another big part is going to be cerebral palsy. But autism, I'm going to talk about shifting mindsets, autism awareness and acceptance of children with autism, a little bit about autism itself, then and what is new in the understanding of autism, and what are the new treatments that are available for autism. So the first part of my talk, shifting our mindset, moving from just awareness about autism to acceptance of individuals with special needs or those who are different from us. So that's the embracing of the neurodiversity. Not all of us are the same. Some are tall, some are short, some are dark, some are fair, some have brown eyes, some have blue eyes, but we accept them. So similarly, we have to learn to accept individuals who are a little different, who have special abilities, who need special care, and accept them. It's important as a community that there be a healthy trend, not only about awareness, but also a better understanding and acceptance of those who have autism. Focus is now shifting to understanding of the positives or the abilities of children with autism rather than looking at their deficits. The biggest change that we have gotten now is that we are able to screen children very early, diagnose them early, thereby getting them early intervention or early treatment to get them to lead an independent life. So in the US, these, of course, there are political differences, but these are two individuals who do talk about autism, unlike many of their predecessors who really did not understand what autism was. So it's worth looking at what have they said about autism in different forums. These are two individuals I'm going to talk about who are billionaires and extremely successful individuals in their own field and have had a diagnosis of high functioning autism. And because of, not just despite it, but because of their autism, have been very, very successful individuals in their own professional lives.
Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is.
So as Reverend Anthony did mention that the number of autism is rising, and this is what President Trump has also emphasized on, that something is not right.
If the autism epidemic was an artifact of new or changing diagnostic criteria or better recognition, you would see it in all age groups. In my age group, 69 years old, the autism rates in my age group are 1 in 10,000. Still, in my children's age group, it's 1 in 34, 1 in 22 boys.
Isn't that because it comes with a shorter life expectancy?
No, autism does not have a shorter life expectancy. People with autism can live as long as anybody.
So what is Robert F. Kennedy saying? That it's not just better diagnosis which is showing us so much increase in the prevalence of autism. If it would have been, we would also have seen autism in a 60-year-old or a 50-year-old more. What we are seeing is an increase in the numbers going up every year, and starting from the the 1990s, when the surge actually happened.
You've talked about that if you were a kid today, you would probably have a diagnosis of autism. What makes you think that?
Well, the term, particularly when they say on the spectrum, that's gone from being a very narrow thing to now pretty broad. And I was very slow to develop socially. I kind of rock. I concentrate intensely. My teachers were so confused that in the same grade they said put him ahead 1 or 2 grades, and another teacher said push him back 1 or 2 grades. So that was a dilemma. My energy, my obsessions, fortunately writing software being one of those, so that worked out well for me, marked me out as a very different kid in terms of my neurological style.
Your ability to focus as a kid and solve problems in your head, I mean, that you write about, it became kind of a superpower.
Absolutely. I wouldn't trade it despite the other limitations that it came with.
So this is Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, who is the founder of Microsoft. I think all of us know him, but go and please, I would encourage you to go and see this interview that he gave to BBC, where he talks about the difficulties that he had as a child. And even now, you can see that he keeps on moving, fidgeting, as you would see many children with autism unable to really sit still. But look at what he says, that he would not trade his autism for anything, because that's what made him focus better on what he knew, or what his strength was. That was his superpower. So we have to be able to understand and garner the superpower in our children, which we see every day in the work that we do. So let's also look at Elon Musk. We all know about what he did and what he's brought to this world, the Tesla and the electric cars, and doing so much more. And he has admitted that he has Asperger's. And how many people actually come out and say that, see, I am different. And I'm different, and that's why I am special. I'm better than others. So when parents ask us, can my child be normal? I ask them, who said you are normal? Who said I am normal? Normal is an incorrect word in this new era now. There are neurodiverse individuals. There are differences. We have to look at what's special in our children and get them to become that special individuals. I tell them, your child can become better than normal. So that's what you need to believe about your child. If you do not believe that, the world will not believe it.
When you
So of
publish
course,
that.
please go and look at this
Meanwhile,
TED Talks where Elon Musk talks about his condition. So that's what I meant by shifting our mindset about our children and accepting that they're different, but they are special. So now let's go and understand what is autism spectrum disorder. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder. Very, very important to understand that. It was earlier thought that it is a psychiatric condition, and yes, back here in India a long time back, and now in Africa as well, it is considered sometimes as a devilry or a curse, or no, it is a condition of the brain where the brain functioning is affected. So as the brain of the child is developing in the mother's womb, and once the child comes out, the brain development is not like typical individuals. It is developed, it's different, and hence it is known as a neurodevelopmental condition. It appears to be occurring more in males than females. We do not know the exact reason, but it is possible because of hormonal issues. It's a spectrum. That's why if you remember the first icebreaker question of Dr. Emmanuel, are all children with autism similar in strength and challenges? No, some can be mild, some can be severe, some could be moderate. So every child is different. It's an umbrella spectrum. It can range from mild to severe. And what do you actually see? You see difficulty in communication, socialization. They're very sensitive to change. Adaptation is a problem. They have repetitive behavior. They tend to do the same thing again and again. Some of them may have motor difficulties like fine motor issues, or tone of the body is low. And this is what makes a lot of different symptoms like hyperactivity. Some are very hyperactive, some are very hypoactive. Some have increased sensory requirement, some are very sensitive to small sensory changes. That leads to a lot of trauma, a lot of tantrums and meltdowns, because they are unable to process information which is coming from the external environment. So information comes in, but processing is a problem and expression is a problem. And that's where all the symptoms become exaggerated. So why do we need to really know more about autism? Because as the previous videos have shown, and President Trump has spoken about it as well, that the number of autism, the prevalence has increased since 2000, 317%. So it's a pandemic in its own right. We are not really recognizing it, understanding it, giving it that importance. In 1970, the prevalence was 1 in 10,000. And now see, it has increased from 1999, 2000, 1995. It's increasing every 2 years. You can see an increase in the prevalence. And the latest 2023-24 data says 1 in 31. Isn't that alarming? And the number of individuals, 70 million individuals in the world affected with autism, 1% of the global population. So parents always come and ask us, what is the problem? My child looks, physically healthy. These are handsome looking boys, very, very beautiful. But what's really wrong with them? Did we do anything wrong? What has actually happened? So let's try and understand a little bit where are we coming from? What could be the possible reasons? Autism is a multifactorial condition. There is not one thing that we can really attribute to the cause, but it's a spectrum. And we've divided the causes into two parts: and established causes or accepted causes, and controversial causes. So let's look at the established causes. Genetic mutations or genetic conditions. 10 to 15% of autism can be attributed to genetic predisposition. There are a host of genes which could be affected and could contribute to the brain development or the connections being affected. But 85% is environmental causes, and usually you see an overlap in the genetic and environmental causes. So apart from genetic mutations, advanced parental age, maternal health issues during pregnancy, and birth complications are established causes. I'll expound a little bit more on that in a bit. Controversial causes or new age causes is what I would call them. Vaccines, heavy metal exposure, exposure to electromagnetic radiation like cell phone. So as I said, genetic factors do form about 15% of the autism cause of autism. A big chunk is environmental, and you see a lot of overlap between these. So we have seen a lot of families with autism, triplets, quadruplets, 4 siblings out of 8 in a particular family, sisters having autism. So there does seem to be a genetic possibility in many families. When we look at the environmental factors, as I said, the prenatal and antenatal, when the child is in the mother's womb and when the child is coming out, any intestinal issues, especially in the mother, exposure to toxic chemicals and the use of phone. So let's look at the prenatal and antenatal causes, because understanding this will help you find ways to prevent it. So understanding prenatal and antenatal causes is very well connected to what can you do to prevent it. So maternal infection during pregnancy, in India, routinely earlier, there used to be a TORCH test. And TORCH is, the full form of that is Toxoplasma, Rubella, Chlamydia, and cytomegalovirus, and herpes infection. If the mother's womb or mother has an infection, this can get passed on to the child in the first 2 trimesters of the pregnancy, leading to the delay in development, can cause more severe issues than just autism, could cause severe congenital rubellosis, leading to hearing issue, vision issue, and brain not being formed, and to milder issues like autism. Maternal diabetes, if mother has uncontrolled gestational diabetes, mother is depressed during pregnancy and using antidepressant, stress during pregnancy. I think stress during pregnancy is a big part. It is not just a mental issue or a psychological issue, but it also affects the body of the mother. In stress, there is release of adrenaline, which causes a contraction to the blood vessels, which are providing the food and oxygen to the child, leading to a hypoxic situation. So stresses in mothers, in families, we tell in a very light way that husbands need to take care of their wives if you do not want to have autism in your family. So keep your mother happy. Earlier, in India, we had the culture of the mother or the pregnant woman going to her maternal house, to her mother's house for a big chunk of her pregnancy so that she can rest and be fed and pampered. But now, since we are going from joint family to nuclear family, the parents have to do everything. Mother has to work to the last day of pregnancy. So all those stresses in the modern world are also contributing possibly to the rise in autism. So age of the parents, if father's age is more than 40, 43 years old or less than 20, could be one of the factors for increasing the risk of autism. A child who's born premature or very small or intrauterine growth retardation or a cord around the neck lead to hypoxia during pregnancy, so prematurity and birth complications. If father's age is more, then there is a 13 times more risk of having ADHD and 3.5 times more risk of having autism. And the heavy metal exposure, one of the controversial topics, which again, part of the modern world, the diesel, the petrol, the contamination in the water, the sewage and the food that we are eating, the aquatic ecosystem, all of this, the pesticides in the food, the agriculture, the industries. So maybe we are paying the price of modernization, of industrialization somewhere, the increased heavy metal exposure to the child when the child is in the mother's womb, when the brain is still developing, or the first year of their life, when the brain is very, very delicate, and then the coverings around the brain are still very fragile, so that the heavy metal can pass through and affect the brain development. So this is one of the possible risk factors which is still undergoing a lot of study. Electromagnetic spectrum, again, one of the controversial possibilities. We see, why are we saying this? That we are seeing an increase in autism from the 1990s and 2000s. And if you can think of all the developments that have happened in India, the 2G, the 3G, the 4G, the 5G, the radio waves reaching your child through various gadgets, as well as exposure to the towers, the radio from the radio waves from the towers, from the TV towers, or from the internet towers, could affect the brain development. So this is, again, you can't really live without it. So what do you do? But because it disrupts the blood-brain barrier, it alters the gene expression in the body. Maybe that's why the gene defects are increasing. It increases the inflammation, which is supposed to be one of the pathophysiologies or problems in autism. Vaccine, very, very controversial vaccine issue, and especially in the developing world where infectious diseases are a big killer. We are very, very careful about talking about this, but since many parents have this question, I'm addressing this here. In 1998, Professor Andrew Wakefield from United Kingdom published an article in a very, very prestigious journal known as The Lancet, where he found suggested a link between autism and MMR. The link was more not the vaccine per se, but the preservative, which contained mercury known as thimerosal, could be the possible candidate for the increase in autism, is one of the theories put forth. But in 2010, this was retracted, because after that, there were a lot of publications, almost 25 publications, which found that there was no correlation. Also, since then, the preservative used in the MMR has changed from thimerosal. So we still do not know really what is the credence that we should give to this theory. There are lots and lots of parents who tell us that as soon as a child got a vaccine, now the MMR vaccine, people are extrapolating to other vaccines too, that the child regressed. But we also have families where one child has autism, the other was not vaccinated, and the other also developed autism. So it's not 100% correlation yet. And especially being doctors in developing country, we would not advise against the vaccine. Vaccines are important to prevent death due to killer diseases. But yes, we have to be careful. We believe that when we are giving the vaccines, we should not give multiple vaccines at the same time. We believe that it should be spaced out, and you have to give the most essential vaccines only.
There have been...
So, of course, there is a lot of discussion in the US. I'm not really going to go there at this point.
There have been, as I understand it, dozens of studies done all over the world that make it very clear that vaccines do not cause autism. Now, you just said, if I heard correctly, well, if the evidence is there. The evidence is there. That's it. Vaccines do not cause autism. Do you agree with that?
As I said, I'm not going to go into HHS with any preordained.
I asked you a simple question, Bobby. The studies all over the world say it does not. What do you think?
Senator, if you show me those studies, I will absolutely, as I promised to Chairman Cassidy, I will apologize.
That is a very troubling response, because the studies are there. Your job was to have looked at those studies as an applicant for this job. All right.
So Now, so this I've already summarized. So let's look at symptoms of
Around 1
autism.
year,
And
she
this is
had
a mother
speech,
talking
but at
about.
around 1.5, she went mute.
When she was 1.5 years old, she was not giving an eye contact, not mixing with the children, and not replying to her name. So that actually triggered something is wrong.
Shihan was not at all talking, it's just everything is sign.
His focus is very poor, but very focused.
My son was completely speechless.
Never see no, you talk, then you regress.
If you cannot speak, it's not safe. Even if someone is bullying you, you cannot even say and ask for help.
Challenges were really in his ability to listen to longer instructions, his ability to sit, process that, even talk.
Some of the kids stick toes. I would see it with my girl.
Noticing more and more of abnormal symptoms, which was hard to digest.
Was not able to control himself in terms of toilets. He used to wear diapers. He wasn't able to, very picky eating.
Whenever you open the door, we had the threat of he running away. So we had to keep him contained. So unpredictable behaviors.
He was running away. He wasn't sleeping. I would stand up the whole night holding him and he would cry if I put him down.
We took her to the pediatrician. Then we got a shock. Oh, there she is suffering from autism.
When I was told about the diagnosis, first I saw the end of me. I couldn't handle the end.
It's like we lost our son. He was here with us, right with us, and he is not even responding to his names.
Then what is the solution? You have to go to therapy and all.
We had several years of therapy. That did not change much for me for 8 years.
Therapies was not making any changes. Pediatricians and all say that, oh, nothing can be done.
When I saw Dr. Alok talk about the amazing results that he's seeing based on stem cell, I don't want to wait. My child is losing his time.
So this was the parents talking about the symptoms of autism, and they first understood that the child could be different. So this is directly from the parents' mouth. Now let's understand, let's see what is new in the understanding of autism. What is the research done at NeuroGen showing, and what have we seen? So we are going to look at autism as a 360-degree view of autism. This is a new way that we are looking at autism, and not just, so when there is a tale in India that four men who are blindfolded are taken to elephant, right? And they don't know it's an elephant, so one touches the leg and feels it's a pillar, the other touches the nose and feels that it's a pipe, the other touches the ear, feels that it is a fan. So so far everybody has been looking at bits and pieces of autism, and when you remove the blindfold, you see the whole elephant. So we want to see a child with autism holistically, everything about him which could be a problem, and we try and harmonize and connect it and correct it. So we are here, okay, and we are going to look at the brain. What do we see in the brain differently of a child with autism or an individual with autism? We will look at what gene mutations are affecting his symptoms, not what are causing it. I'm here not going to talk about what gene defects are causing autism, but I'm going to look at what gene defects are affecting the way the child is showing his symptoms. We are going to look at the blood levels of various vitamins and other neurotransmitters which could affect the symptoms of the child and affect the way the child is healing or not healing. And we will look at the gut. Gut is a very, very important part of our body, which is connected to the brain and also connected to a lot of symptoms in the child. So we are going to look at all of these, and I'm going to take a little time for that. First, look at the neuroimaging findings. Most of the time, when your experience, when you go to a doctor or a clinician to show your child, they will look at the child, they'll do a clinical diagnosis, but they will never look at what's the problem in the brain. But we looked at it, and we have done hundreds and thousands of brain scans, and we have figured out what is it that is the problem in the brain. Suppose you have a simple thing like your fracture of a leg, you do an x-ray, right? And you have a child has a complex condition and you don't even look at the brain. So neuroimaging findings are going to be very, very interesting. So the MRI, you all understand about MRI. I'm also going to talk about PET-CT scan of the brain, which is a functional scan of the brain. The second is the biochemical findings, as I said, what's in the blood, genetic findings, which what changes the blood and the brain, and the gut issues or gut dysbiosis. So let's look at the neuroimaging. This is the MRI of the brain. This is a PET scan. What have we found? So when we look at the PET scan of the brain, this is a positron emission tomography, which looks at the functioning of the brain. So let me give you a difference. What is an MRI? What is a PET scan? If you do an MRI of a chair in your room, you will find the structure of the chair. You'll find that it has a seat and it has 4 legs. But it will not tell you how strong are these legs. If you sit on the chair, will it take your weight or will it break? PET scan here helps us understanding the functioning of the legs. How strong are they? So in the brain of a child with autism, it tells us which part of the brain is functioning very well and which part is functioning very low. So if you see this, you can see green, red, yellow, and blue. So green, yellow, red here indicates good functioning brain, while the blue part here indicates low functioning brain. So in the brain of a child with autism, when you see this brain, you can see green, red, yellow is very good. You can see the lower part of the brain in the back, and inside the brain, these 3 areas are functioning less. So if you see this back part, this is called cerebellum. This is for fine motor activity, coordination, balance, articulation, words coming out, processing of information. The center part known as thalamus is for sensory and motor processing. And this part here in the beak of the brain here is the part for hippocampus, for understanding, for learning, for comprehension, amygdala for socializing. So you can see that it's not that the full brain is damaged, a big chunk is good. And this part that you see yellow and red is good functioning. Why? Because here, and what does it do? This is a part which is the occipital lobe, or the part of the visual area of the brain. And when we talk of superpower, you see children with autism having photographic memories, and they can read more than others. They may not be able to speak, but they are hyperlexic. They can do mental arithmetics. This all comes from their visual area. So they have superpower, but they also have parts which are functioning less. So we are going to try and help the parts which are functioning less to function better. So this is something that we have published in the World Journal of Nuclear Medicine. And interestingly, what have we seen? You can see this graph. The blue line here, or graph, indicates that the brain function, this is the brain functioning of neurotypical or typically developing brain, while the orange here shows the development of the brain cortical metabolism or functioning of the brain in an autistic child. So you can see neurotypical between 0 to 5 up till 10, the brain functioning is increasing. Between 10 to 15, it is increasing, but slowly, and that's how the brain develops. But in child with autism, you can see initially it is high and then it is going down. Okay, so the metabolism is actually going down, and with time, you can see the gap between a brain of a neurotypical and a brain of an autistic child is increasing. So that's why the concept of early intervention, the earlier you diagnose, the earlier you treat, you can get this particular graph up faster. The gap is lesser. But when you do it at 10 to 15 years, you can see the gap is more. It can be pushed up, but it may not really go till the neurotypical brain. So this is very important to understand, because that's where the treatment also starts from. So in the MRI, normally when we do an MRI of brain of a child with autism, generally it is found that broadly the different parts of the brain are in the right place and everything is okay. But there are a few portions which we did a more detailed research and understanding. We found the connections of the brain is affected. So if you look at the brain, and if you look at the 2 parts of the brain, when you open it up, is connected by what is known as the corpus callosum. So you can see this part here is the connection or the wiring of the brain. And it is seen that the wiring, if you see here, you track it here, the thickness is good. But here you can see the thickness of the wiring or the bundle of wire is thinner. This is the corpus callosum, and it is a connection between the two parts of the brain to help the two parts of the brain function together. This corpus callosum is a mediator or is the processor or the connector. So this part is functioning less, and that is also one of the challenges. The bridge is not 100% strong. So we need to improve the brain functioning, and we need to connect the bridge, two parts of the brain together better. So that's what the brain scan shows. So this is one part. I hope this is clear. The next part is again very important. These are new studies or findings that we are doing every day and looking at what is seen in the blood. So in the many of children with autism, many parents have been told that the children have mitochondrial dysfunction. What is a mitochondria? So if you look at the cell in our body is made up of different organs. An organ is made up of different tissues, and each tissue is made up of multiple cells coming together. So cell is the basic unit of our body. In the cell, so far we have looked at genetics, that is the DNA, but now we have to look at epigenetics, and we have to look at what's happening outside the nucleus. So the mitochondria is the breathing apparatus of the cell. It is the lungs of the cell. And if the lungs of the cell is weak, then you can understand what will happen to the cell. It will not be able to lead a healthy life. So mitochondrial dysfunction is common in autism. It is also common in you and me, but more common in children with autism. And that could be one of the reasons contributing to the expression of autism or the power. So powerhouse of cell. So when we see what affects this powerhouse or helps it function is the vitamin levels. So vitamin B complex, which includes B2, B6, B9, B12, vitamin D, are very, very important for the cell functioning, especially the breathing apparatus of the cell or the energy production of the cell. So we find that folic acid levels in the blood are very high. Now, high doesn't mean good always. Folic acid, which we consume in the food, whether it be a non-vegetarian food or you have oats or muesli, which is fortified with multiple vitamins, all contains vitamins which are inactive vitamins. So our body has to convert this inactive vitamin into an active form. And if it is unable to convert due to some genetic issue or some other problem, the folic acid will accumulate in the blood. So having a lot of folic acid in the blood is not good. So this is important. Very low folic acid or very high, both are not good. So folic acid needs to be converted to an active form, L-methylfolate, and then the body can use it for repair of cell, for regeneration of cell, for the formation of a detoxification in the body, for the formation of neurotransmitters like melatonin. I think most parents know about melatonin because your child doesn't sleep and you have to give melatonin because the body is not producing melatonin. Therefore, the serotonin and for the dopamine. So in autism, this folic acid is not being converted in 70 to 80% of children, not happening. So this is something which we have found is very different and interesting, and we can work on it. Why do we need to find this issue? So that we can find a corrective measure for it, and we have a corrective measure, so not to despair. So what we did was a gene study. This is the part of the genetics. Please, I want to make it very clear, the gene study that I'm talking about is not the actual cause of autism. This is a defect which prevents the use of folic acid, a very important vitamin B, B9 in our body, leading to inability of the brain to form a lot of chemicals it requires to function or to network or to talk to each other. So we find that this MTHFR, methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase, this particular enzyme or gene, there is a defect in the spelling or the coding of this gene. And we find that 73% of children that we have tested from different parts of the world, they have this gene defect. And this gene defect can be in two common parts of the gene. What you see, exons 4 and 7 are different parts of the gene. They could be affected, and they could be affected in both the genes. So you know that every gene has a pair, one coming from mother, one coming from father. So if only one part of the gene or one gene is affected, it's called heterozygous. If both genes, both from mother and father are affected, it's called homozygous. But what is more important is that if there is a homozygous defect, that both the genes are affected, the functioning of this gene is completely stopped. And that means that the folic acid will not be converted to folate. So this is important to know, and we do this testing for all the children that we treat in our institute. Apart from that, we are also looking at blood levels of different neurotransmitters, which are important for mood. Like, for example, glutamate is important for anxiety. There is an increase of glutamate level. If there's an imbalance, an increase in glutamate, there are sensory issues and anxiety. If GABA, which is a very important neurotransmitter, is less, that leads to hyperactivity and poor impulse control. If serotonin is low, there will be a lot of mood swings and lack of motivation. If dopamine is low, there is poor focus and repetitive behavior. And if norepinephrine is low, there is poor attention and poor motivation. And if oxytocin is low, there is poor emotional bonding. So we are looking at all these abnormal patterns, and there's a lot of information still coming out. This is a study in progress. So we are looking at abnormal or imbalances in the neurotransmitter level. We are looking at the profiling of the neurotransmitter. We are comparing the different levels in the urine, in the blood, and CSF. And we are looking at production of this neurotransmitter in the gut, in the stool sample. And of course, we have looked at different ages, and we have looked at different levels. Some of them are low in the CSF and some are very high in the CSF. CSF is the cerebrospinal fluid that is in the brain, which indicates in the brain which of the neurotransmitters or amino acids are high and low. So this is still work in progress, and this is a little bit more technical. So I'm going to just let you know that this is something which we are doing a lot of detailed analysis. But I'll give you a short snap view of what does it say, which I've already told you. But now we'll look also at the gut result. Gut is very important. What is gut? The stomach, the intestines, the small intestine and the large intestine. So food gets broken down in the stomach and in the small intestine, but gets absorbed in the large intestine. So if the large intestine is not moving properly, if there's constipation, the food gets stuck in the gut, the toxins gets absorbed, the unwanted bacteria and fungus multiply there and create a lot of problem for the gut as well as for the brain. So we looked at almost 491 samples, and we found the neurotransmitter in the gut is also affected. So not only in the blood, in the CSF, in the urine, neurotransmitter level in the gut. Gut has a lot of nerve connection. So it is like the second brain in our body. And we have found that there are the neurotransmitter levels are imbalanced in the gut as well. So the preliminary result of the brain, blood, and urine testing for different neurotransmitters, dopamine is low, which leads to, again, low motivation, reduced pleasure, lack of drive for activities. Serotonin is high in blood, but low in brain. Still, we need to understand what it means. Different amino acids are also high, leading to learning and memory deficits. So there are a lot of things still under study. So conclusion is not complete yet. So genetic, I told you about the genetic findings. MTHFR gene mutation test on methylation defects are being checked. And we find that there is the 73% of children do have this gene defect, which prevents the conversion of folic acid to an active methylfolate, which is important for brain functioning. So our research finds that 80% of autism individuals have MTHFR gene mutation. They have high folic acid level. Homocysteine level is high, which leads to the blood becoming very thick. Vitamin D levels are low. Oxytocin is low. And B12 levels are elevated in the mothers. The fourth part of the 360-degree view of the child with autism is gut. Gut issues, when there is constipation, there are digestive problems, leads to hyperactivity, behavioral issues. Many parents tell my child cries without reason, my child laughs without reason, is also partly the gut issue, and also neurotransmitter imbalance in the gut leads to a lot of, the child is a picky eater, and sometimes there is the child doesn't digest properly, has a lot of gas, and the child will not focus. All of this could also be the gut and sensory issues. So what have we found when we studied almost 1,000 individuals with autism and their gut? We found that 47% of these children have E. coli infection and 59% have Shigella dysentery. So they may not show symptoms of loose motions, but their gut has this problem. And this bacterial infection leads to stereotypical repetitive behavior, communication disorder, memory issue, may lead to seizures and drowsiness, and increased hypersensitivity in these children. The fungal Candida aspergillus infection, fungal overload in 27 and 11%, showing a lot of aggressive behaviors, jumping, laughing without reason, crying without reason, communication issues, learning not proper. The other thing is the worms in the stomach or amoebiasis, especially the cryptosporidium we see in 39%, which again causes diarrhea, stomach cramp, nausea. The child is not able to tell you, but will have sleepless nights, will have severe crying spells because the cramp is so bad. So having looked at all of this, now let's look at what is new in the management of autism. We know that the conventional treatment is neurorehabilitation. Neurorehabilitation is a very important part of treatment of autism, but I will be talking a little bit about that, but I want to talk about what's new. So what is new in the treatment of autism? We believe that a comprehensive multidisciplinary approach is very, very important. We saw that the brain is affected, we need to improve the brain functioning. We saw the gut is affected, we need to treat the gut as well. And we saw that the vitamin levels are imbalanced, we need to correct that as well. So a comprehensive treatment program is very important, which is a combination of comprehensive rehabilitation along with cellular therapy, along with oxygen-based integrative therapies. So I will be coming bit by bit to that. So the old thinking is that once the brain is damaged, it is incapable of regeneration. However, new thought is now that the regeneration is possible by the process of cellular replacement and repair. So what is cellular replacement and repair, and how does that happen? It is known as cell therapy, cellular therapy. Some people know it as stem cell therapy. Some people know it as regenerative medicine. So these are different terminologies that are used for similar treatments. What are cells or stem cells which have potential to repair the brain damage? These are special cells in our body, just as stem when you put a seed in the soil, there are roots which go in, which you cannot see, but you can see the stem coming out, and you give them proper water and fertilizer, they give rise to branches and leaves and flowers and fruits. Similarly, there are special cells in our body which can multiply many a time. This is the brain PET scan, you can see the blue part is damaged. These cells will go there and stimulate the brain and repair the brain and repair the brain damage. So just as I mentioned some time back, if you have a fracture of a leg, what will you do? Will you start walking immediately? Will you start doing physiotherapy immediately? No. First, what will you do? You will either put a plaster cast or you will repair with a surgery, and then you start doing the walking. So for an organ like a bone, when you need to repair it, why not the brain? Why is our thought about brain any different? So this is a brain scan, which when you can see the blue part is damaged, we need to repair the damage. And once the damage is repaired, you can do therapy and training better, and you see better efficiency. Now, how is a stem cell or a cellular therapy or regenerative medicine different from a medicine or a drug? when you look at a paracetamol, it will only help to reduce the fever, but it is not going to kill the bacteria or virus in our body. You need antibiotics or antiviral for it. So every drug has a particular action. Like, for example, you have different things for different. For a pain, you need different thing. For gastritis, you need different tablets. So like when in the olden age, when we needed to see time, we needed a clock. When you wanted a light, where you needed a torch. If you had to call someone, you needed a telephone separate. And if you had to click pictures, you needed a camera. If you wanted to read something, you had a book, a hardbound book. That is in the early 90s and 2000s. But now what do we have? We have an Android or an iPhone which can do all this job in one small gadget. And that's what the stem cells are. So stem cells have differing mechanism of action. They multiply and they differentiate. They stimulate the brain. They release factors which will reduce the inflammation or the swelling in the brain. They prevent the cell death and increase expectancy of the life of the cell. They release growth factors which helps the regeneration. They form new blood vessels which will again bring oxygen and positive chemicals to the site where it needs to heal. These cells can also form new cells in the brain or the liver, wherever you put them. So that's the speciality of cells, and there are thousands of publications worldwide for different neurological, orthopedic conditions. For different conditions, the field of regenerative medicine is very, very open. In case of neurological conditions, 33 publications in autism, cerebral palsy 44, spinal cord injury 68, brain stroke 38. So even neurological conditions, there are enough scientific publications. Harrison Textbook of Medicine is our Bible of the medical field, where we read this textbook in our medical school. And the 19th edition, it started from the 15th edition actually. The 15th edition of the Harrison's textbook had a chapter on regenerative medicine and stem cell biology and hematopoietic cells and where it can be used. What is the hallmark of regenerative medicine? Well, it's been growing fast and abundantly. 3 Nobel Prize in the field of regenerative medicine in the last 30-40 years. No other field of medicine has got so many Nobel Prizes. So 1990 for the demonstration of stem cells in the bone marrow from Dr. Thomas. In 2007 from Sir Martin Ewens got the Nobel Prize for the isolation of embryonic stem cell. Recently in 2012, Professor Gordon and Shinya Yamanaka got the Nobel Prize for induced pluripotent stem cells of our skin can be converted into childlike or immature cells or embryonic cells without having to go through the controversial embryonic phase. So these are the advances in the field of regenerative medicine. And this is Professor Stephen Hawking. Before he died, he did a whole series on stem cells, and this is what he had to say.
My life exploring the mysteries of the cosmos. But there's another universe that fascinates me. The one hidden inside our bodies. Our own personal galaxies of cells. Today, we are on the brink of a new age in medicine. An age where we will be able to heal our bodies of any illness. All because of cells inside us,
which have special powers. They are called stem cells.
So, Stephen Hawking himself was suffering from a neurological condition known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. But he was a big supporter of stem cells from your own body, healing your own body. And this is what we are going to see today. How does this really work? So what is cellular therapy and what do these cells do? These cells have the potential to multiply. One cell can become thousands of cells, depending on where you put them. If you put them in the liver, they can become liver-like cells. If you put them in the brain, they can become brain-like cells. They improve blood supply wherever you put them. If you put them near the brain, they improve the oxygenation in the blood by forming new blood vessels, and they release growth factors which help the regeneration and repair of the brain. So what are the different ways they work in autism? Angiogenesis, formation of new blood vessel, paracrine effect, stimulation of the nearby cell by release of growth factors, anti-apoptosis, prevention of cell death, neuroprotection, anti-inflammatory, and stimulation of endogenous or the stem cells in the brain are also stimulated, and improving the connections in the brain between the cells. The cells, brain cells have to talk to each other to carry forward the signals. So there are two types, autologous, where we take the cells from our own body and use it for healing our own body. The allogenic, when you take from outside and put it in our body. There are different types, embryonic cells taken from 3 to 4 day embryo from in vitro fertilization clinics has the maximum potential, can form any type of cell in our body, but also has a lot of controversies, ethical as well as scientific controversies surrounding it, and hence not used for treatment or medical transplantation. The cord blood is the cord which is connected between the child and the mother. When the child is born, this cord has a lot of stem cells can be stored for that specific child, but used for blood disorders like sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. Adult cells, our adult stem cells are taken from the patient's own bone marrow. We can take from the bone marrow, from the fat tissue, from the teeth. At NeuroGen, we use the bone marrow. Bone marrow is the factory of cells. It continues to multiply and form blood every day till we die. And these bone marrow cells have no controversial issues. They do not form tumors. We are not killing an embryo, hence very safe and simple source or replenishable source of cells in our body. And induced pluripotent stem cells, for which Nobel Prize was awarded in 2012, still being studied and could potentially help treat retinal issue or retinal regeneration and blood disorders. Still work in progress. So we can use adult stem cells without any ethical or safety issues. So at NeuroGen, we work with adult cells taken from the bone marrow because they are safe, they are non-tumorigenic, no rejection issues, easily obtainable, and no ethical issues. So I'm going to all the data that I'm going to talk about is when we take cells from the patient's own body. So how do we do this treatment? It is done in 3 steps. The first part is taking cells from the hip bone. You can see here, this is the bone from the bone of the child itself. We take the bone marrow using a very thin needle under sedation anesthesia, no pain to the child, no cut, no stitches. Bone marrow is aspirated. In the laboratory, within a few hours, it is separated and injected back into the spinal fluid. And the cells reach the brain and help improve the brain functioning. This is a process. This is a bone marrow, like thick blood. In the laboratory, it is being processed and injecting using a very, very thin needle. So what are the scientific publications, or what is our work which we have done over the last 16 years? The first ever proof of concept paper published in the year 2013, which shows that use of bone marrow derived cells are safe and can be used. 32 patients. We found 91 patients improved in different areas. And the second was published in 2020 in the American Journal of Stem Cells. 254 patients where they were followed up for 7.5 months on an average. 95% showed improvement in various symptoms, better social interaction, eye contact, attention concentrated in 80%, stereotypical behavior reduction in 53%, sitting tolerance in 86%, command following 84%, speech improved in 61%, and communication in 60%. We found that children less than 5 years do the best, almost 98% improvement in their clinical scores. 5 to 10%, 95% improved. Above 10, about 90% of the children improved. So as the age increases, possibility of success reduces by a few percentage. We also did brain scan comparison to see how much the brain functioning improves. This is a scan before the treatment. You can see this part is good. The blue areas and black areas are severely affected areas. This is before the treatment. You can see after the treatment, the blue areas have reduced. This takes about 6 months to see the changes. You can see the increased activity in the occipital lobe, that is the brain power or superpower of the child, has actually increased. Another, you can see that blue part before the treatment, the cerebellum has become green. Green means better functioning. You can see here, better functioning. The thalamus improved, the understanding area has improved. The most recent is which has been accepted, and very happy to tell this, recently accepted in the International Journal of Stem Cell Transplantation, data of 1011 patients which were treated in the last 15 years, the follow-up of 19 months. These are the improvements that we see. 82% showing better attention concentration, 80% showing better command following, 78% showing better eye contact, sitting tolerance improved, social interaction, hyperactivity reduced, and 65% communication improved in 60 to 61%. These are the improvements. Improvement in the clinical scores in 85% of the children, improvement in different areas of issues that we see, significant improved statistically in all these areas or parameters. Age-wise, with single treatment, we find 90% possibility of success in less than 5 years, which goes down to 80% when the child is above 15 years. Again, the brain scan, which I've already shown you. So when we look at worldwide, first from India, second from China, third publication from Italy, fourth from the US, fifth from the US. So US is much behind India in all of these, India and China. Sixth, India, seventh, Vietnam, eighth, Iran, ninth, US, 10th, Vietnam. And recently, which we have not put here, 11th from India, from NeuroGen again. So we see that from publication from China showing 90%, 88% success rate. Publication from US or scientific data showing 90% success rate. From Mexico, this publication shows 95% success rate. From Vietnam, a publication shows 93% success rate with safety, good safety. So a lot of publication and scientific evidence is there contrary to what many of the scientific community and medical community tells us. Now, the second part of my talk is about neurorehabilitation. Now, this applies to both autism and to cerebral palsy. The cell therapy is the same both in autism and cerebral palsy. I will be talking about the data of cerebral palsy shortly after I finish this. A little bit more about neurorehabilitation in both autism and cerebral palsy. Why is it important? Many parents feel that, okay, we have done the treatment and the child should be absolutely fine. No, what we are doing with using cell therapy or stem cell therapy is we are improving the hardware. So if you have an iPhone and you have a brand new iPhone just bought, do you think it is going to start working immediately? No, you have to download the WhatsApp. You have to put the software in. The software is very important, and that's where the neurorehabilitation works. So stem cell repairs the hardware, and that we have seen happens in every child that we have treated. But rehab and teaching at home, the home environment, the community participation, the inputs from the school, from the church, from the rehabilitation specialist, all is very important. And that's what is going to put the software and show you the real results. So comprehensive rehabilitation team effort is very important. You need the speech therapy, psychology, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, aquatic therapy, diet, the proper diet and nutrition, special education, sensory integration, behavior therapy, art therapy, everything. So comprehensive rehabilitation can again be divided into conventional and new. Conventional, we all know psychology, behavioral therapy, occupational therapy, speech. But what we have found that sensory integration therapy as a part of occupational therapy is very important, and aquatic therapy. These children love water. You make them do therapy and exercise in water. They improve beautifully. So ABA is about behaviors. Why is a child doing a certain behavior? To understand the antecedent and try to correct the behavior as well as try to remove the antecedent. So that is applied behavioral analysis. Occupational therapy. What is the occupation of the child? Occupation of the child is to eat and to sleep and to play and to be able to take care of himself. So all these training is very important. So it's not just that my child should speak. No, my child should be able to take care of himself. My child should be able to go to the toilet and clean by himself, should be able to go to school and study, should be able to play with other children. All of these are equally important. speech therapy. Speech therapy is not only about words, it's also about communication. So speech therapy works not only on language, but also on chewing and swallowing, and also on communication using both non-verbal and verbal methods. Physiotherapy. Most parents feel, or children, professionals feel that the child is physically absolutely fine, but the child has problem in motor coordination, fine motor activity, tone issue, has a lot of sometimes postural stability issue. Many children have gravitational insecurity. They're able to climb up the stair, but climbing down the stair is a problem. So all of this can be corrected using physiotherapy. And of course, physiotherapy is critically important in cerebral palsy. Art-based therapy, you use the fun way, art way to teach the child. The child is a visual learner, uses vision or visual skills to improve his learning abilities. So you can use music, you can use art, you can use dramatics, you can use dance, so many ways that you can teach a child. Sensory integration, autism is basically a sensory processing disorder. We found that between the two brains, the connection of the brain is affected, and that is the processing unit of the brain. And in what happens, information comes in, but they do not know how to process it and give you a appropriate response. So how that the child sometimes needs to be taught how to process information and to express the right way or the appropriate way. So this is a sensory integration unit where all different senses are being stimulated or being trained. Aquatic therapy, as I said, very good for coordination, body control. It helps social skills, improves cognitive function, helps focusing. It helps the child sleep better, hyperactivity reduces. So swimming is very good. So rehabilitation enhances the effect of the cell therapy. We find that when we do cell therapy, improve the brain functioning, and do therapy, rehabilitation along with it, the results enhances it by improving helping the cells reach the right place, by improving the blood supply in the brain, neuronal connections form, reduction of inflammation. So all of this happens together. So two parts that we have covered is cellular therapy and neurorehabilitation. A very important addition to our treatment protocol is now integrative therapies. This comprises of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, ozone therapy, gut cleansing, and supplements. So hyperbaric oxygen, I will talk a little bit about that. This is a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Right now at your home, what you are breathing now is 20% oxygen in air. And what you are breathing at is 1 atmosphere pressure. In 1 atmosphere pressure, the oxygen is going only into the blood, into the red blood cells. The hemoglobin is carrying it. You can see the upper part, this is normal atmosphere pressure. You can see the oxygen inside the red blood cells. But please note there is no oxygen here into the plasma of the blood. So when you increase the pressure of oxygen in the chamber where the child is lying, the increased oxygen goes into our body under high pressure, and now you can see oxygen in the plasma and in the bloodstream going to nook and corner of your body, especially the brain, even where these cells are not able to go. So oxygenation in our body increases, and thereby healing capacity increases. So just see this, you can see this video where the child is going into the chamber, okay, and instruction with the parent, instruction is being given, pressure is slowly increased, child is looking at videos out in there and very happy and is breathing. So it's a simple non-invasive procedure which stimulates oxygenation, helps improve immunity, improves the brain function, improves metabolism, reduces the fatigue. So we have seen very good results when you combine cell therapy with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. The other one that we do is ozone therapy. Ozone is what you can see, oxygen is 2 molecule of oxygen, O2. So this is combined, it is connected very strongly. Ozone is O3. So this connection is very unstable. It's just one connection, but it is an activated oxygen molecule, and it has a lot of a positive effect. When you put it in the gut, it kills the unwanted bacteria and fungus. It improves oxygenation, reduces inflammation, cleanses the gut, improves the energy, helps immunity of the body to increase. In children, it can be given through the ear, goes directly to the brain. It's called ear ozone through the stethoscope. It can be given as an enema via the rectum. And the third is, now we have started for non-verbal children, we have started ozone cupping. So cupping means you give massage to the cheek muscles so that they start functioning better. Many children are unable to chew, they are unable to vocalize, so ozone cupping is helping. So 10 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen and 10 sessions of ozone is now part of our treatment protocol. Deep tissue mobilization, or what you know as acupressure, pressing different parts of the hand, leg, helps to calm the child, improves the muscle tone and function. It reduces anxiety, it improves the sleep pattern. Gut detox plan. So clean gut means better nutrition, stronger immunity, and better brain functioning also. So gut microbiome, we do a testing of the stool, look at what are the pathogens in the stool, in the gut, use gut cleansing or rectal ozone to clean or detox the gut, as well as we give medications, phase-wise medication, as well as dietary recommendation to help settle the gut. So this is very important. The toxins, when they come out of the gut, the absorption of nutrients occurs better, and that reaches the brain better. Diet is important. Try gluten-free and casein-free diet. Avoid sugar, avoid pesticides, avoid inorganic processed food, avoid junk food. Give more of probiotic and prebiotic. Try gluten-free and casein-free diet. Try camel milk if you can, and more of fermented food. Micronutrients in children, we do not give intravenous, but we give oral medications based on the blood levels of vitamins, as well as magnesium helps to calm the child as well. So this is a protocol for the nutrients. So what are we doing with hyperbaric and ozone therapy? It enhances oxygenation and better metabolism, delivers oxygen to the brain tissue better. It has anti-inflammatory effect. Ozone helps to reduce inflammation in the brain and in the body. HBOT also does the same thing. Mitochondrial function is improved. The breathing capacity of the cell increases. Detoxification, ozone going to the liver via the gut helps to detox the liver. Also, it improves, HBOT improves the toxin clearance. Gut-brain axis is improved as well. So there are a lot of positive effects: neuroprotection, immune system, regulation, behavioral, cognitive, improvements, oxidative stress. So when we do a combination of these treatments, we see a very good improvement. When we do only cell therapy and rehab versus cell therapy, rehab, and oxygen-based therapy, we find almost 6 to 7% better improvement when we do a combination treatment. All the different symptoms, they are improved, some to 6% and some by 10% when we do a combination treatment. Okay, brain functioning also, the brain functioning or the PET scan changes also better when we do a combination treatment. Okay. In cerebral palsy also, we have seen that when we do a treatment comparison, we see a better improvement. We see that when you do only cell therapy, there is improvement to different levels. When we do a combination of cell therapy to oxygen therapy, we have an improvement of again 5 to 10%. Neck holding, sitting balance, standing balance, walking balance, ambulation, leg movement, all of that improve much better with a combination of cellular therapy with integrative therapy. So let's look at, I think this is Rosamund, who has already shared her journey, but maybe a little quick recap.
I am in Connecticut, US. It's a suburb called Hamden, where Yale University is located. Yale University, I hope you heard about it. And I'm a mom of 4 boys. Kobe is on the spectrum. Kwabena is on the spectrum. And so the first time we went for his 1.5 appointment, the doctor was like, oh, because you have relocated, and he was listening to different language and now it's English, the talking is going to delay a little bit. So when he said that, we relaxed, because at 1.5 he wasn't saying mommy, neither was he saying daddy. God will help you. Kobe is doing amazing. I didn't do much with therapies. I'm not going to boast. He gets just 30 minutes in the week for speech because it's just in the school system. But I promised myself, whilst I'm going, since it has helped, I didn't take it serious from the first time. But I'm going to add up all the therapies. But now, Doc, Kobe can write sentences, although some doesn't make sense. But he writes sentences. He is the best reader in his class.
Best
He
reader.
can read.
Which grade is he in?
First grade. First grade co-taught. He can read, he can write, he can spell everything, memorize it.
Don't
Do you know
even
that?
go there.
Like he, when we were coming with Air India, he sat at the window and not knowing he was looking down. I came, he had a paper and drew. He started with the water, added the boats or a ship, and I saw Air India. And mommy sitting at the window. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, she showed it to me. The
fishes in the ocean, and a shark fishes, and the shark asking the fishes, "Do you want a party?"
Hey, this is
Do you want to have a
imagination.
like imagination. My son can imagine and draw something. Sometimes we even baffle. He go and stand in front of our house, then come and draw. Draw daddy sitting in front of his laptop. Draw, so he's good at drawing. Music, first he was sing-songing and other stuff. And what helped was, Kobe, stop doing he. And the brothers were like the brothers put pressure on him. You know, he has 2 small brothers. Mommy, Kobe is doing he. Then the little one comes, Kobe, stop doing he. And you know, I don't even recognize when he stopped doing the he, the sing-songing. Because we put pressure on him, and now he has stopped.
Yes. Vocal stimming.
The vocal stimming has stopped.
That was Rosman. You heard a little bit
When
more.
we came here to NeuroGen,
This is
she
about
was
Emma.
totally nonverbal. She had no speech. Immediately after
Kenya.
the first shot of stem cell, that's when she started now having one word.
Less than 2 weeks from that, he was using single words like
C for cat.
magically the water came out from the mouth, mama came out from the mouth.
Therefore, fish.
I remember the first day she called me mom, I cried. I cried because it was so emotional.
Within about like 40 days, a remarkable improvement. Her eye contact is fabulous. She started sleeping on a time. You know, that is wonderful.
Biggest game changer for Prithvi is his expressive language, his speech. He started speaking more. He even started telling us what's going on in school.
He's able to listen, and he's able to understand more, and he's able to learn new things.
So after stem cell, what I saw was he was able to read sentences in his mind.
He has improved his eye contact. If he wants water, if he can't reach, he'll come and ask, he wants water. We gained so much progress in less time.
She started responding to her name.
Is Eliana big? No. Eliana is a?
Eliana is a good girl.
Then his writing has improved. He can read
C for dog.
single word to sentences.
My girl finally she had speech. Please give me food. Can we go for a shopping?
Cranberry.
Cranberry.
And orange.
Orange.
And mixed fruit.
Mixed fruit.
High five. Now he is able to put things in sentences. Let's put on our shoes. Let's go to the car. Let's go to the plane. Let's go home. You feel now, yes, you got your life back.
She improved her performance in the school. Her behavior has improved. Her understanding has improved.
There are certain things which I have never taught him. Huge improvement in academics, English language, Bengali, that's Bengali is his mother tongue, and also a little bit of Spanish. He can tell you the date 7th February 2030. What will be the day?
From special needs self-contained class into a gen ed class, he would come and say, I got 100 in math today. I was the only one who got 100 in math.
My child started showing this extraordinary education skills. He can do calculations, he can do square root, cube root. I have also tried a little bit of cos theta, tan theta, which is class 9-10 level with the options, and he has also given that.
The boy who was not responding, even if you call his name at the beginning, he is now, when someone walks into the room, he spontaneously, automatically says hi. He is able to grab and tell you to read for him, and you sit down and listen and watches and you read together. And he reads after you, and he's able to write. His handwriting improved.
Now I'm not scared that he would take off and run away, because I think he goes out of the house and he knows what he wants to play. If I say it's dangerous, come back, he comes back. So that stress is reduced.
I taught him my phone number for emergency purpose. I also taught him the address. He is able to tell me full address, and he is able to write it down so that if anything happens, he is able to say my phone number.
He understands emotions. If you're happy, he's happy. If you get upset, he knows you're upset. I have seen a lot of huge differences. It's like giving a second life to a child by doing the stem cell.
She could do short call on her own, but long call with support. But after the second one, she is fully trained.
हर बार stem cells से improvement है, and the improvement are permanent.
We've seen significant improvement, hitting all his goals, and in fact we are now figuring out what are the new kinds of challenges we need to set for him.
There are children with a special need, so they come to us and speak to her how Saisha is doing such a good.
My child has got some ability to fall back on and to make that as his career or the reason why he is here in this world.
The stem cell is a hope for a parent. You might not see the results in the same day or the same minute, but you can see faster and much better results.
He has, the two big sisters are both of them public health nurses. And mom is a nurse, and we are a medical family. We see and observe him every single day, and we ask ourselves, it's just a few more years, Abdul Hakim will be independent.
So that was, I think, from the parents. So I'm going to skip the other videos because I want to talk a little bit about cerebral palsy because I think we've overshot the time, and my parents have been very, very, I think, patient. So of course, there are lots and lots of stories which we can show. Let's talk a little bit about, so these are our publications. All of this are available on our website. These are the chapters that we have written on books. These are our books. A little bit about cerebral palsy. What is cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy is damage to the brain, leading to different functioning disorders, motor as well as cognitive, depending on which part of the brain is affected. If only one side is affected, the opposite side is paralyzed. If both parts of the brain are affected, sometimes lower limbs are paralyzed, sometimes leg down you're paralyzed, or there can be dyskinetic, there'll be a lot of movements, or there can be ataxic, like a problem in coordination. So depending on which part of the brain is affected, you'll see symptoms. This is a PET scan of the brain in a very severely damaged brain scan. You can see the green is good, but a lot of black. This black area is completely dead area, but that cannot be revived. But the blue areas around it are the ones which we can stimulate and salvage. What is the general medical management in cerebral palsy? Medications to reduce convulsions, spasms, or antispasmodics, or antispastic medication to reduce the tightness, anti-inflammatory for pain, Botox if the medicine doesn't work, the Botox to reduce the tightness. Surgery in very severe cases, surgery or in the nerves, or surgery of the tendons to reduce the tightness. So these are orthopedic, but everything is from outside. Nothing really is, none of these treatments are addressing this damage in the brain. And that's where the cellular therapy or stem cell therapy along with oxygen therapy works. So this is a publication or scientific article that we published way back in 2015. And the recent data analysis, which is currently not published, is a data of 184 patients, where we found when we did only cell therapy, 55% improvement in neck control, then sitting balance, standing balance, walking in 43%, ambulation in 34%, leg movements improved, posture and gait improved with only cellular therapy. But we combined cellular therapy with hyperbaric oxygen and ozone therapy. We found that neck control improved in 61% of children, sitting balance in 67, standing balance in 57, walking balance in 52. So we can see much better improvement. The hand movements in 45% of children, posture better in 76. So not 100%, but a big chunk of these children who have not been able to recover have started recovering. The gross motor function is one of the clinical scores that we do, 88% improvement in only cellular therapy, while 92% of those show improvement when there's a combination of treatment. So these are all our published results. This is a book chapter that we have written, and in Cerebral Palsy, I would like to show a few case reports. With 7-year male from a small state in India known as West Bengal, was treated twice. He came with a severity of 4. The most severe is 5. 4 is slightly less severe. 4 score with GMFM of 41%. He could not sit without support. He could not stand. He could not walk. He had high hand coordination issues. He could not speak. He was homeschooled because he could not go to school. And then over a period of 22 months, we saw that he was able to sit independently without support. He was able to stand and walk with a walker. He was able to speak in sentences. Now he was able to go to school and study. He improved in coordination and hand manipulation, balance, and cognition and command. His gross motor function improved from 41% to 58%. His score of severity went on from 4 to 3. Balance improved from 4 to 11. And his functional improvement measure, which measures the independence level, improved from 41 to 59. So this is a brain scan of the same child. You can see the brain before the treatment, green, but a lot of blue areas. Okay, these were all damaged parts. This is before the treatment. You can see 22 months later, this green has, the blue has become all green, yellow, and red. So the brain functioning has improved beautifully after the treatment. So that's the hardware. This is one example. There are so many of such. This is another child of West syndrome, very severe brain damage. He came to us when he was 9 years old with a lot of seizures. We've treated him 4 times with slow, gradual improvement over a period of time. Then earlier he was absolutely unable to hold his neck. Now he can hold the neck and sustain well. He was unable to roll at all. Now he can roll by himself independently. Earlier he needed full support for sitting. Now he sits 1 to 2 minutes with his own hand support. He was not able to maintain all fours or quadruped. Now he's able to maintain it for a few seconds. So these improvements may seem very less for us, but for that particular child and the family, this means a lot of better improvement in quality of life and a hope that the child will slowly improve. These are slow and steady improvements from 6% of gross motor function to 14%. And the neck control 1/3, that is very minimal, to 3/3, that is complete neck control. This was a severe damage that he had. You can see the damage is slowly getting repaired. Severe damage, and then part of it is repaired. It's not complete. You can see the blue, it's become green. So this is how he was before in 2022. You can see, and now in 23, sitting is better, hand is straighter. Then dynamic sitting on the swing. So these are gradual developments. Of course, a lot of intensive therapy was followed after, with especially in cerebral palsy, very important to do physiotherapy for a good time. You can see quadruped needed a lot of support, and now with minimal support, he is improved sitting. You can see kneel, standing, needed so much support from front and back. You can see much happier, much more able to be stable. Earlier needed full support, you can see. Now needs much lesser support. So slowly we are moving towards for him to be able to sit independently, be able to walk with some support. There is still some time to go. Another child, sorry. So intellectual disability also can be treated. Just I will go quickly through it. This is a brain scan before the treatment, and after 6 months later, you can see damage as this is the first proof of concept paper that we published in the first in the world from NeuroGen, where we studied 2 groups. So one group had only rehabilitation. The orange part is only rehabilitation. The blue part is a cell therapy with rehabilitation. So only with rehabilitation, 80% of children do improve, 20% did not show any improvement. And the improvements were more milder. And significant improvements were only 13%. But when we did the intervention at that time, all of the children had improved and 62% showed significant improvement. So you can see the shift, that those who are showing mild with cell therapy and rehabilitation, we can shift them towards significant improvement. So rehabilitation has its positive and is very important, but when you combine it with cell therapy, you see more qualitative improvement. So you can see the brain scan before the treatment, a lot of damage. This is after the treatment. You can see now the brain is completely healed. Another one. So these are our publications. I'm not going to show you the improvement videos because I think I will need to keep some time for questions. Which complications or side effects, no major complications, no neurological deterioration, but those who have a history of seizures do have a chance of having seizure after the treatment, and medications are given to prevent the same. Some children after the treatment may have headache, nausea, vomiting within 4 days of the treatment. It is self-limiting and becomes all right whilst you are here. This also we have published. I think our work is supported or monitored by our institutional ethics committee. And to conclude that management of autism cerebral palsy needs a combination treatment, and that there are new imaging. When we do brain scan, you can understand where the problem is, and biochemical investigation help us understand the metabolic pathways. Comprehensive multidisciplinary treatment is the treatment way to go ahead to get your child off the spectrum. Cell therapy itself is not a cure for ASD or cerebral palsy, but it needs to be combined with conventional and comprehensive rehabilitation to reduce symptoms and improve quality of life. It is not yet a standard of care, but it is a clinical option for these conditions. So comprehensive holistic approach for autism and cerebral palsy includes new brain imaging techniques, conventional rehabilitation, special rehabilitation, cellular therapy, and oxygen-based therapies. So all of this was presented in my talk. It's very important that if you want best results in your child, most important is absolute acceptance of the child, the way the child is, complete understanding of what is happening to the child, the whole family working as a team, having a schedule through the day, cellular therapy as part of the treatment protocol, comprehensive rehabilitation, correction of micronutrient imbalances, and integrative therapies. So these are the books our Honorable Prime Minister has written, a preface for the book that we have written, and this is a book that we are presenting to him. And this is when when he spoke in the Parliament, Indian Parliament, about stem cells.
Today, मैं जापान गया, तो जापान मेरे कार्यक्रम में मैंने एक कार्यक्रम क्या जोड़ा, मैं वहाँ एक नोबेल लॉरिएट साइंटिस्ट याकामाहा को मिलने गया। मैं इसलिए किया गया कि उन्होंने स्टेम सेल के अंदर जो रिसर्च की है, मैंने जितना पढ़ा था तो मेरे मन में आया था शायद इनकी एक खोज हमारे काम आ सकती है क्या? हम गए तो वहां गए, उनसे चर्चा की और बेंगलोर के हमारे साइंस इंस्टीट्यूट के साथ आज उस दिशा में हमारा काम हो रहा है कि स्टेम सेल्स के द्वारा हमारे युवा साइंटिस्ट कुछ खोज करें.
So this is US and India are two of the biggest democracies in the world, and this is our premier prime minister speaking in the parliament about stem cells. And I would like to finally conclude with President Obama's speech when
today, with the executive order I am about to sign, we will bring the change that so many scientists and researchers, doctors and innovators, patients and loved ones have hoped for and fought for these past 8 years. We will lift the ban on federal funding for promising embryonic stem cell research. Scientists believe these tiny cells may have the potential to help us understand and possibly cure some of our most devastating diseases and conditions, to regenerate a severed spinal cord and lift someone from a wheelchair, to spur insulin production and spare a child from a lifetime of needles, to treat Parkinson's, cancer, heart disease, and others that affect millions of Americans and the people who love them. There's no finish line in the work of science. The race is always with us. The urgent work of giving substance to hope and answering those many bedside prayers, of seeking a day when words like terminal and incurable are potentially retired from our vocabulary. Today,
this is what we also want to do, and at NeuroGen, we have a 2-week treatment program, a 1 week and a 2-week. It's a comprehensive treatment program where we do a complete brain scan, understanding blood workup, do the cell therapy and rehabilitation along with integrative therapies. And why are we different? Because we are the only institute which focuses only on neurological conditions. We use safe treatment, that is the child's own bone marrow injected into the spinal fluid. So nothing from outside, nothing controversial here. We combine cell therapy with comprehensive rehabilitation and integrative therapies. We have treated more than 15,000 patients from 103 different countries in the last 16 years. And our team contains seniors and experienced professionals across many specialties. We have the largest number of scientific publications in the world, 111 publications in the world. We have written book chapters in a lot of international textbooks. We are constantly researching about why there is a damage, what is the cause, and finding ways to correct their deficiencies. And our work is monitored by a government-approved institutional ethics committee. So this is a journey of hope, of a combination of a comprehensive treatment. I hope that this has helped you understand your child better and understand that this is a medical condition which can be treated. And if you get this message and this takes you to a positive day tomorrow, that would mean that I have done my job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nandini, for a wonderful share of knowledge. I believe that we all have learned a lot. And the last question I would ask is that if you guys, I know this was like a rush through a little bit because of time, but so if you guys want more of this to happen in the future, you can put a yes in the chat so that we can come back where stuff will be explained to your understanding. And we'll share some contact information here and there. If you want to learn more about NeuroGen, Mrs. Joyce Labby is there. She's a good resource. She will take you through all the processes that you need to be able to get to NeuroGen through your scheduling of appointments, make it so easy for you. So I can see a lot of yeses in the chat. That means that, Dr. Nandini, that means that we are heading towards where we need to plan for another one of this nature, because a lot of people want to learn and then have some hope for families. Yes, because that is all we all strive for. So we'll open the floor for questions. Because of time, we wouldn't take a lot of questions, but just know that you are not avoided. we'll plan more of this in the near future so we can answer all your questions. But even if you have a question that is unanswered, reach out. I'll share some contacts. Reach out to me. Reach out to Mrs. Joyce Labby, Reverend Anthony Asian, who is the head pastor of Rare House. Even if you need prayer support, reach out. We are there, Rare House, Greensboro Chapel. We are there to support you all the time. So please just reach out, and we are going to provide all the support that you need. So now the floor is opening for questions. I see one of them in the chat. So I think this one will go to Dr. Nandini. Can the stem cell from one person be used for the procedure on a different person? So,
so stem cell transplantation is like an organ transplantation. For certain conditions like blood disorders, bone marrow transplantation from one to another is a possibility. However, for brain conditions, at this point, we do not recommend using what we call as allogenic cell or donor cells, because as would be in a transplantation from another person, the body may accept or may not accept, there may be rejection. So hence, for brain conditions, if the bone marrow is healthy, then we would prefer to use the patient's own bone marrow. So depending on the conditions, the answer would be yes or no.
Thank you very much. Does that answer your question? So, talking about cost, if you reach out to the numbers that I'll be providing, we'll walk you through everything. So don't worry about that. I'll provide some numbers and contacts here and there. And I think I've gathered emails, so I'll be sharing resources on how to get there and all of that. So yes, we will do all of that. And it says, who is very capable of taking care of an autistic child?
You, the parents, you are the most capable. The child has come in your family, so we believe that parents are the best therapist, and the family. I think there is a saying in Africa, isn't it? You need a village to raise a child. So similarly, for a child with autism, the family, the extended family, the community is very, very critical, and all of you together will take care of the child with autism. So it's going to be a teamwork. It's going to be a teamwork of doctors and therapists and the family. And I think there was a question about where is this institute based in India? Yes, it is based in India, in Mumbai, metropolitan, the business city of India, that is Mumbai. Yes.
Okay, there's another question which says that my girlfriend has been taking a vitamin that has folate of 1330 mcg for 3 months. Is that dangerous to the unborn baby?
A strong recommendation is that you take the folate in the methyl folate form or a folinic acid form. Do not take plain folic acid. So please check what folate it is. If it is just folic acid, please stop it right now. Take methyl folate. Please, should I write it down here? Methyl folate or folinic acid. It comes at leucovorin or a methyl folate tablet. Those are very essential. So take it in an activated form. That's all. All the vitamins, take in activated form.
Okay, so I will take this information from Dr. Nandini. I have all your emails and I'll be sending them to you. So don't worry, all the slide presentation, every important information that was shared here will be given out, will be sent out to. So be on the lookout in your emails, it will be sent to you. And most of your questions will be answered when I'm sending stuff through resources through your emails.
Yes. So the next question is whether, the treatment, not right now in Ghana, you have to come to India for the treatment. Yes.
So all the treatment has to be done in India. And like I said, Sika, who is the CEO of Autism, the Stigma, has led a lot of people make the journey so easy for them to get there. So I'll be sharing her contact information and everything so that you guys, when you reach out, she's going to make the process so easy for you. He have easy access to them because of the time difference. She does a very good job helping you guys to have easy access to NeuroGen and making sure that all your schedules are on time and everything you need is accessible to you. Then there's also another one here. My son has autism and has started getting absent seizures. Will this affect the eligibility of stem cell therapy?
So if he has absent seizures, medication, control with medication is important. Seizures is not an absolute contraindication for stem cell therapy. You can come for the treatment, but it would be better to come when the seizures are controlled. When you mean absent seizures, are you actually seeing the seizures or you mean just the EEG is abnormal? If EEG is abnormal, just give medication, anti-epileptic medications, and we do treat children with active seizures also. But control of at least a couple of months would be a good to start with.
Okay, thank you very much. So the one who's asking about folic acid and DHA, the answer
yes.
is in the chat. So please look at that and get that.
Yeah, folic acid, yes. So they're saying here. Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. And we have another question. It says, in Ghana, all pregnant women are given folic acid for some time. Does this cause the prevalence of autism?
We believe it does. We believe it does. So folic acid is being given to everyone in every part of the world, everywhere. Started from the US in the 1990s. They started fortifying, giving a lot of folic acid supplements and fortifying all the food with folic acid to prevent neural tube defects. And then now it has become a standard of care for all pregnant or even before conception. So as I mentioned again, folic acid is important for the brain functioning, but it needs to be given in an active form. Please ensure that you give the vitamin in a methylated form. So methylfolate is, I have put it here in the chat also. Look for methylfolate tablets. So when you're looking at the medicine, ensure it is methylfolate.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions? Please, can you have me share my screen a little bit? Thank you. If it's okay.
Yeah. I think you can share. No, you are on the panel, so you
I think
can
it says
share.
I should send requests. You can request.
No, I have to stop my sharing first. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay. Thank you.
Sharing now.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay. So yes. Yes. Any more questions? Any more questions that has not been answered? Any more questions, please? Any more questions? Thank you very much. Somebody says thank you for doing this. I will be doing more of this. Very, very important. And one thing I want to add is that, well, therapies are not only for those who have challenges. Even if you have wards that don't have challenges, it is good to stimulate the brain, right? So taking them through activities helps you to stimulate the brain, so that sometimes a child in the classroom is not performing well, is not understanding concepts. There are a lot of ways that you can also help the child at home, because learning itself takes place in the home, right? So don't leave everything on the teacher. Find multiple ways. There are a lot of videos, there are a lot of strategies. And when you come to NeuroGen I believe they teach you some strategies to help your kids at home, which is very, very useful. So you can use it for all kids. That gives them a lot of benefits, right? So always let's find ways of stimulating the brain, because children learn, like I said earlier on, they learn through using materials, pictures, and all of that. If you can look at Bloom's taxonomy of education, it teaches you the relevance of taking children through activities to build their brain functions. Any more questions? You say I wasn't. There's a lot of questions coming. I wasn't giving folic acid, but the pregnant cares and well women supplements, are they safe?
Yeah, so so I don't know what the clinical development supplements say. Actually, see the concept of vitamins in general, not just in pregnant females, but in for wellness also is now changing. even for you and me, when we take vitamins, we need to ensure these are active vitamins. For example, B12, vitamin B12 should be taken again in a methylated form, methyl B12 or methylcobalamin and methylfolate. The B2 and B6, riboflavin and pyridoxine has to be taken in phosphated form. So this concept, in fact, is starting from the US. There are a lot of supplements that you can get which are activated vitamins or methylated vitamins. Now, I do not know what the Well Woman supplements really contain. Please look at the contents, all of you. Now, the question which said was if folic acid increases the risk, why it has not been changed. These studies are still going on, and our study where we are looking at the MTHFR gene mutation with 80% of children having defect where they cannot convert the folic acid to folate is still, the data is still coming out, and we from our side we are still yet to publish it. So, but wherever we get a chance, we do tell it has to start from the gynecologist, from the obstetrician. They need to be educated, not the pediatricians now. So now we realize that earlier we were saying that the child has to be diagnosed early and the pediatricians have to be aware. Now we feel we have to go back further, that even before the female conceives and when you're going for just a consultation to a gynecologist or obstetrician, they have to be aware. So awareness in that area is we have, somebody has to start the education of that, and awareness and education takes time. So yes, I know it should be done and we are concerned, but considering our profile, it's not possible for us to spearhead that awareness program. At some point we will do it once we have more data on it.
Okay, I think the questions, any more questions? Thank you very much, Dr. Nandini. So yes, any more questions? So I think a lot of people are proposing that we do more of this. So later we'll get together and see if we can have more, because one of the things that I realized that those from Ghana, a lot of them were messaging me that they had internet issues. So I'll send the recording to them so we can try and organize another one so they benefit. Yes. Sure. So yeah, definitely. Okay. So we are getting closer to the end of this session. So for inquiries, I told you, Mrs. Joyce Labi is doing a great job. I remember one of our ladies who shared the message of hope mentioned Mrs. Joyce Labi. She's a wonderful woman who will walk you through all the steps and make it easier for you to contact NeuroGen, especially because of the time differences. Is going to do a great job to help you contact NeuroGen. If you need a lot of resources and other stuff, I'm even trying to get them. I'm also available. My contact is there. And Mrs. Adobiatu is there, who has a foundation in Ghana. If you need any support, you can reach out to her as well. And then also our Reverend Minister, Reverend Asian, who is also the head pastor of Royal House Greensboro, is doing a great job. If you need prayer support, we have online sessions every Friday. I will be providing that. I mean, it's just an invite. Join us. And I mean, as we are doing the physical aspect, we are also praying that it goes well. Those things are all important. So if you need that spiritual aspect support, you can always join us Friday. And we have services on Sunday that you can also join us as well. So I have listed all the, let me go back. So all the emails are there, the numbers are there. I'll be sending them to your how do you call it, to your emails. So be expecting some resources from me. That will be helpful. Also, Reverend Anthony is also trying to set up a foundation in Ghana because of his passion to help those in such families in such condition. So be on the lookout for that. And this is a partnership for all, because our aim is to make sure that we provide hope. So we want to say a big thank you to NeuroGen. We want to say a big thank you to Royal House Chapel, to Autism, the Stigma, and then Mrs. Angela, Inclusive Horizon, Mrs. Angela, and all those who shared hope stories. We thank you all so much. And then to our lovely, 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 lovely participant. We cannot do this without you. We thank you all so much for attending. And before we do, this has been done already. So I think we are heading towards planning a future one. So I will invite Reverend Anthony Asian to give us a closing remarks and then a closing prayer. And if Reverend Anthony is around, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel and Dr. Danny, and then all the Joyce, Labby, and everyone who gave a presentation. Indeed, autism, like we all found out, is not a punishment. It is not because you have done anything wrong, but that it is just a diverse way or a diversity that God Himself gave to us. So, as individuals and being a faith-based person and being a pastor, I believe that one of our mandates as Christians is to be all inclusive, because our doctrine, our theology teaches us that we should love our neighbor as ourselves. So it is not in our place to stigmatize people, but rather to be all inclusive, all embracing, to show compassion and to have empathy, and also to provide resources that will educate, that will inform. Because my Bible teaches me that if you know the truth will set you free. So I believe that some of the things that we've learned today has really enlightened us. We have come to know the truth, and we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. And pain and suffering is all part of the journey of life. And as a faith-based person, I believe that in all of that journey, you have somebody, a supernatural being, Jesus Christ, God, who is always on our side. So even though it may be a painful journey, we believe that God is still on our side. And as a church, we believe that with prayer, with support, with care, and with love, together we can help each other go through this journey. We should see it as a journey that at the end of the day, we will see positivity, we will have hope. And I believe that all these things contribute to us helping each other. So thank you once again, Dr. Emmanuel. I'm really, really impressed. I'm really, really fulfilled. And I can't wait for the next session, because my passion, our passion as a church, is to really trumpet this message, crusade this message. Let this message go out. Bring more people on board, so that at the end of the day, we shall all have the understanding, because most people don't have that understanding. And one of the things Dr. Adani said is that we need to understand the condition to be able to help people better. And all this goes to help us to understand. And so I pray that more of such meetings, more of such resources will go a long way to help us to really, really understand this condition, and also embrace the new development, the advanced therapies that are coming, so that we will all come about to help our children. There is hope. I believe that there is hope. And I believe that even in this hope, our faith, our trust, and our prayers can still go up to this God. While we are taking the necessary steps, because God makes us know that faith without works is dead. So we take the steps, do all the rehabilitation, but still continue to pray and trust in God. Because the God that we said is still a miracle working God. He has the ability to help us and to turn this around for us. So thank you once again, Dr. Emmanuel. And I would like us to close, unless you have any closing thing to say before I share a word of prayer, Dr. Emmanuel.
Anybody has any last remarks? If not, we'll say a word of prayer.
All right. Shall we share a word of prayer? Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we want to thank you this afternoon that we began with you, and indeed, you have been with us throughout this presentation up to this point. We thank you for the wisdom and the knowledge that you have deposited into our minds and into our spirit. We pray in the name of the Lord Jesus that you shall help us, grant us the grace, the ability, and the capacity to be able to understand the condition that we are dealing with our children, our loved ones, and help us, Heavenly Father, to know how to embrace and to include, to know how to show compassion and passion and empathy and love towards these ones that are going through these challenges. Heavenly Father, we know also that even as we take steps of faith by looking to science and by looking at the various therapies and applying what you have placed at our disposal, and we make the necessary steps, you in your wisdom will also add your blessing. And Heavenly Father, we know, just as in any miracle, the receiver of the miracle has a corresponding part to play. We pray also that, Lord, you will hear our prayer when we cry unto you. And in all the things that we will do, Lord, show yourself strong, glorify yourself, and let the whole world know that indeed you are the God who gave the praise, you gave the wisdom, you gave the science, and ultimately the healing comes from you. We give you all the praise. We thank you, oh God, for all the panelists, that whatever virtue has gone out of them, you will continue to grace them with the ability to even research more, to even do more, so that at the end of the day, we shall have a positive impact on our generation. We give you all the glory. We give you all the praise. And we ask all this in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Yes, any questions about any of these that we have talked about, even other conditions, reach out and we'll find you all the resources and all the help that you need. Remember, we are a team. We'll work together, and together we'll fight this, and we'll be victorious. So families, I encourage you to work with these lovely ones. It's a struggle. It's not easy. Give them the emotional support. The church, the community, the society, everybody support each other, because when in times of this situation, it's very difficult. So if you see somebody or a loved one in this situation, just say a word of encouragement, and that goes a long way to help. So together, once again, together, we will fight this and be victorious. So NeuroGen, to myself, together with the team of NeuroGen, Autism, the Stigma, and then Horizon Foundation, we say a big thank you to you all for coming. We are planning for another section, and the date will be announced. Thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too. Bye-bye.